One more kiss and I'll get lost. I can't take this anymore. One more step, we have it all. The fever's knocking at your door. One more kiss and I'll get lost. I can't take this anymore. One more step, we have it all. The fever's knocking at your door. Can you feel the fever? You give me a fever again. Your game, but I love to be the one who gets played, yeah. There I go and I just fall again. Cause baby I like the way I'm looking up. I like the hell you put me through. I keep on chasing after you. Can you feel the fever? You can feel the fever. I like the things you make me do. You know how to make me like a fool. The way you smile, the way you move. Can you feel the fever? You give me a fever again. You give me a fever again.
Warhammer 40k fans, it's official. Games Workshop thinks you're actually stupid. Let's get into it.
I have no idea what's going on. I'm just ready to be 0-1, mate.
Just think about all the lady boob sweat in the armor, all the smell. Oh.
Dude,
Oh, wait, we gotta start over.
One more kiss and I'll get lost. I can't take this anymore. One more step, we have it all. The fever's knocking at your door. One more kiss and I'll get lost. I can't take this anymore. One more step, we have it all. The fever's knocking at your door. Can you feel the fever? You give me a fever again.
Nerdigans to the intro.
Game, but I love to be the one who gets played, yeah. There I go and I just fall again. Cause baby I like the way I'm looking up. I like the hell you put me through. I keep on chasing after you. Can you feel the fever? You can feel the fever. I like the things you make me do. You know how to make me like a fool. The way you smile. Can you feel the fever? You give me a fever again. You give me a fever again.
Yes, we had to redo the intro because Cider went all out of his way to introduce you, put you in there, make you an official member of the Orca team. Welcome aboard, Nerdigans. As if it's not like it's anything new. It's not like we were keeping you off for any particular reason, but we are over here at Bounding. We are trying some new things. We're reshuffling schedules, and as part of that, we are inviting Nerdigans on tonight to the 01 stream. Obviously, you noticed Jacob is not here tonight. He is busy. Nothing wrong there. He just couldn't make it. This is not a replacement. This is not a one-time thing. Nerdigans is always welcome. So yes, welcome to the 01 stream with the your wonderful Bounding into Comics team. Me, your editor-in-chief, Spencer Bakuli, my assistant right-hand editor, Josh Berger, our video man himself, Cider Hype, and of course, the lovely Nerdigans, our anime specialist, the girl who is on top of literally every piece of Japanese entertainment news coming out of the East. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I had to restart the intro because I deliberately created a new intro with Nerdigans in it, and I didn't want her to miss out on it in case we just closed the stream out, you know? So that's why I restarted everything. Sorry, guys. I went through the effort of creating all of it, and I figured it'd be a miss if Nerdigans missed out on how cool she looked in it. So it's my fault.
I'm definitely glad. I approve of doing the reboot or like the replay. I know so many people are going to be confused in the replay because we literally came live for like a second, and then Cider and I go, oh, and then it just restarted.
Exactly. Yes.
So nobody's going to know what was going on. But yes, it looks like Jacob has been race swapped or gender and race swapped. You know, they're doing the whole Disney casting over here. And of course, actually, Hey, It's Me in HD has the actual truth. Jacob is not here because he had a certain meeting to attend. He's got to set his plans up for the next quarter. You know, the election's coming up. It's going to be a big year for that organization. So they've got to, they've got a lot of work on their plate right now. But yes, guys, welcome to another 01 stream. We are happy to be here. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Obviously, as you saw in our thumbnail, we'll be talking a lot about the latest Warhammer development. We will also, if we have the time, we will also be getting into Reacher star Alan Ritchson completely shooting his career in the foot. We will get into the recent layoffs out of Take-Two. And, oh, gosh, if we get to the time, and we actually probably will, considering Nerdigans is here, we're definitely going to talk the One Punch Man movie because, oh yes, man, is that thing just like already set up for disaster? In fact,
the perfect timing of it all is One Punch Man's latest redraw came out today too. So
oh man,
it's so much better. It actually
is it?
It's a webcomic. Thank God.
Oh. So here's the crazy thing. For those of you who don't know what Nerdigans is talking about, recently the last Nerdigans? The last like 10 chapters,
yeah,
right? Or like yeah, so like
8 or 9 chapters, I believe.
Yes, yeah, so somewhere in there. I was going to say 8. I went 10 to be safe, but the last 8 to 10 chapters, not just pages, but chapters of One Punch Man are being completely redone, like redrawn, rewritten, scrapped completely because Murata and One were just like, this is like, we don't like this. It's not great. We're going to redo it. So yeah, that's all happening right now. That, you know, what do you think about that, Nerdigans? I actually want to ask your opinion of it.
I'm so happy with it. For those of you that follow me and have watched my One Punch Man content, you know how pissed I was that the Flashy Flash versus Speed of Sound Sonic fight was ruined, and that the Flashy Flash Speed of Sound Sonic arc is my favorite arc in the webcomic, and seeing it like destroyed like that really frustrated me. But today's chapter, we got to the Flashy Flash Speed of Sound Sonic fight, and it looks so much better. We actually got a decent fight. Speed of Sound Sonic.
I haven't read it yet. I'm excited that is actually properly adapted, though, because like the last outing wasn't great, but like
they made Speed of Sound Sonic like a joke, a weakling, and in the webcomic, he's not. He's a badass, and I know in the read it, they were pissed.
It felt like that was like an executive order, right? Like from the publishers, like wrap this fight up. We want to keep going, or like, oh, do this with this character. And it didn't work. I didn't like it at all. I'm right there with you. But it sort of in a larger picture, something I wanted to like bring up on this topic is this happens a lot in manga, right? Nerdigans, like they will, because of the weekly schedule and the demands of that, we often get pages that are scribbly or incomplete, if you will. You know, the two examples in my head, Nerdigans, are Oda. Oda does it really regularly where it's sketchy. It's not bad. It's just you can tell they didn't have time to like properly line it and go over it and everything. And then Hunter x Hunter, where they go, we have no time for any of this. We're just going to put a bunch of word bubbles on a page. It's just going to be a page of words. You're reading a novel today in your manga magazine. And I kind of like that idea. Like, I like the idea of maybe not going so far as like the One Punch Man team did, which is it's an exception, obviously. Like, this is not something that happens regularly, but I like the idea of if an artist, an artist can get you your stuff in a weekly format, and it might be a little sketchy, but then when the final release comes out, like the tankobons or whatever, they're all perfectly like drawn. I think I really like that sort of method. And, for our audience here, like, I think that's something we need. Like, it doesn't happen a lot in Western comics. A lot of art errors get left in. Things are just thrown out there really fast with, just like I said, with just errors everywhere. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm really getting at. I just really like the
idea of like a touch-up kind of thing.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. You hit it right on the head. A touch-up. Because, like, there are books we get all the time in the West where it's like a word bubble isn't pointing to the right character, or an artist gave a character the wrong costume because they didn't know what was going on at the time. But when they get released, like later on, they're left in there. And it's like, this is like the digital days, right? You don't have to go to the printer and put up the paper word bubbles and lay them down. You can just go into Photoshop and flip it around and say, oh yeah, Peter is supposed to be talking, not Norman or whatever. So I think you hit it right there with touch up. I think that is the right way to do it.
The only thing that is a problem though, and fans hate it, is and it makes the manga kind of unviable, is what the localizers do to like Jujutsu Kaisen and Boku no Hero Academia. And I actually talked about this on my channel earlier this week. Was the Capcom, not just the Capcom localization, but the localizer process, including how it's really, a lot of Japanese media has really become for kids, because what Caleb Cook said was that he would want to put all these curse words and all that for Bakugo, but his editor says no, can't do that, because we need to make sure we could sell it to kids. And it's like, why are we for kids in manga now? It's video games too.
In that I will agree with you that it's stupid. Like, do not get me wrong, but in this one instance, I think it is slightly nuanced, and not to defend any of the changes, but like, they want to market like Boku no Hero Academia to a younger crowd here, right? In America, the teenagers, we have a different culture here with like swearing and like manners, where we lose our minds over that for reasons. Like, I'm not disagreeing with it, but that's why you can't have Bakugo swearing all the time, because nerdigans, there would be some parent out there who grabs picking up their kid's stuff, opens a volume and sees a bunch of swear words and goes, what is this? Oh my gosh, how inappropriate for children. And it's didn't we talk about this last week? Like Cider, Josh, and Jacob and I, about like the Western entertainment industry keeps infantilizing everybody. It keeps treating us all like we're babies. I know you saw this, Nerdigans, but this links back to the Kung Fu Panda director we talked about last week, who she came out and she said, I've talked to Hollywood executives and they know anime exists and they know it's popular, but they refuse to learn from it because they think audiences don't want those kind of stories. So like,
they think you're too dumb.
They really do think you're too dumb. If you guys remember a few weeks ago, I want to say like a month ago at this point, Cider, I don't remember what the main topic was, but Cider played a clip from King Ogre, the second to latest second most recent Sentai series, where it was about like, it was their final battle. It was about clashing ideals. They were all brutally beaten up and they were still struggling. And it's like, you do not get that out here anymore. In Western entertainment, your options are either like very, very sanitized superhero cartoons, things like Marvel's Avengers or Ultimate Spider-Man or whatever, like very, very sanitized, very basic, that all follow the same plot because kids too stupid to follow anything. Or you get, the Proud Family, Louder and Prouder, which is just a pure propaganda piece up and down and is just there to, just change the minds of the youth, if you will.
Third rail, you have a corporate interference stepping in and saying, we need to make sure you kill off this character's current iteration so she falls in line with her corporate iteration.
Yes. So yeah, in case you guys didn't see this news, this is something I really want to talk about because this always pisses me off. So if you guys don't, and this is also going to touch upon something that I'm going to get really heated about for like 30 seconds because it touches on the current Spider-Man run. So for those of you who don't remember, a couple months ago, Marvel Comics started promoting that in the 26th issue of the current Spider-Man book or Amazing Spider-Man run, somebody was going to die. Oh my gosh, comic book character dying. Who could it be? And at the end of the day, it turned out that it wasn't Mary Jane or Peter or Ben or Norman
anybody
or
you actually cared about.
Literally nobody you cared about or was even related to the book. It ended up being Kamala. I'm going to spare you the details because this entire run is being written by Zeb Wells, who, oh my God, might be the worst comic book writer on the face of the planet. Like, this guy is terrible. Like, go check out my videos. Go check out all of my articles related to Spider-Man. I cannot shut my mouth about how awful this man is. He ruined Ben Reilly's character for nothing but shock factor. But I digress. So,
but then you get Spider-Man like Octopus Girl or Deadpool Samurai, where they actually do some really, really cool stuff.
Literally every other book from Marvel with Spider-Man in it, like a direct Spider-Man book, is better than Amazing. Like, in Amazing, like you have, like you said, Spider Girl, or what is it over here now? What was that localization title? Spider Octopus or something?
Oh God, I hate that. Don't get me started on localization
titles. I'm not trying to get you started. I just don't remember what it was.
But you're reminding me of how about, yeah, I think it's like Spider-Man Octogirl or something like that.
Something like that. When it's supposed to be like Octopus Girl or whatever.
Octopus Girl. It's like with, because you mentioned Sentai, it's like with Ranger Reject with this title. Like,
so the Ranger Reject one is Go Loser Ranger, which is like
so much.
Sentai does not necessarily have to be associated with Power Rangers. Like, there's so much more out there. And then I know the one that you really hate, Nerdigans, the Chain Slave one. Or
God, I hate
that's the localized title.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you this right now. The community, the Ranger Reject community and the Maasai No Slave community, they do not, no, those titles are taboo. We don't talk about them. But in regards to Ranger Reject, I actually asked the Kodansha rep if they could, I gave them like the Reddit and everything. I'm like, can you see if we could get the title changed to Ranger Reject?
To Ranger Reject. No. It's those are some of the more like, those aren't like ideologically motivated, you know what I mean? Like, they're not trying to push like an ideology. They're just, well, the Chain Slave one kind of is, but like the Go Loser Ranger one, that's just like bad localization objectively. It's not a culture war thing. It's just like, damn, that is a bad name.
It's so stupid. Yes. I hate it so much. It's in the title. It says Goddess Cafe Terrace in the title.
And that's one of the things, Nerdigans, like, I know you notice this, and as soon as I say this, if our viewers haven't noticed it, they will start to from here on out. Like, a lot of the sub localizations, right? You can, if you watch anime or play Japanese video games or consume any amount of Japanese media, over time you will pick up certain phrases, not saying you can speak Japanese fluently, but you'll be able to recognize, like, oh, they're saying hello, oh, they're expressing nani? Like nani, or like, all that stuff. A lot of localization subs, especially in recent years, you can actively tell that they're not lining up with what they're saying. Even if you don't speak Japanese, it'll be like Cider said, like, nani is an expression of what? Like, what? So if you'll hear a character say like nani, and then the subtitle will be like, duders, what's going up in this piece? How's it hanging? And it's like, what the?
He's not really exaggerating. I mean, a little bit, but he's not really exaggerating. It's so bad.
It's really bad.
One of those particular guilty parties, aka known as Katrina Lewandowski, she actually said that she's leaving Twitter and going to Blue Sky.
Look, I have a Blue Sky account. It sucks. I just got it to check it out, but the main thing I wanted like, I hate how Elon puts all of the verified users like top of my feed, and I just wanted a chronological like list. So that's why I checked out Blue Sky, but its functionality is not there yet. Like, maybe in the future, but right now you can tell it's like trying too hard to be different from Twitter, that it kind of like falls on its face. Like, it's trying too hard. It totally comes across like that. But you guys all got it. Like, nani, omishori, like all that stuff gets changed when it comes across especially from like, who is it? Funimation, Crunchyroll, any of the, or
It's
yeah,
Crunchy,
Funimation's
well,
the one.
Funimation's now Crunchyroll, and then it's
Yeah, oh, that's
Sentai
right. That's right.
Filmworks. It's Sentai Filmworks because Katrina is the one that does localizations for Sentai Filmworks. So you could tell if it's a botch localization from Sentai Filmworks that is probably Katrina doing it, because she puts like problematic. Oh, the one from Dark Gathering, instead of a lolicon or a lolicon god, she says some god with some problematic age gap. Like,
yeah,
you can tell that it's her.
It is very, and she for one of the best examples for our viewers out there, if you want to go into it, we don't have to get into it here, but My Life as Inuku-san's Dog is a very cute little anime about I don't want to call it an isekai, but like a guy dies and then he's reborn as the puppy dog of his crush. It's cute. It's, you know, it's what's on the tin. But Katrina was
like Benji, but
yeah,
for people
kinda.
who like upskirt shots.
I was gonna say Benji, but horny, but that was a better way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when Katrina localized it, you can find the article by Nerdikins actually on our site. It is full of like memes. It's full of slang, like very, very specific dated slang, and it sticks out in my mind as one of the most egregious, like,
and she bragged about it too. That's what I think.
She was excited about it. She was like, yeah, I'm doing this, screw this stupid anime. And it's just like, go, like, I don't want you here. Like, I absolutely
Please
do
go
not
away.
want you around me. Yeah, just go away.
Well, she's with 7Cs too, so like she'll have a job.
I know.
Localizing, unfortunately, because of that union. But anime, like, and video games too, because she does stuff for Atlas. She does the Persona localizations. It's like, stop,
yeah, I know. That's
her.
That's why like I am not excited for any future. Like I didn't buy Persona 3 Reload. I'm not excited for anything that comes next until I know that change has happened in the industry and we have localizers who actually care about what is going on, because otherwise it's just going to keep going on and going on and going on and going on and going on. But anyway, as let's see. Hey, it's me and HD. Hold on, we got to bring that one back up. Hey, it's me and HD has questions about that last story. So, yeah, we didn't quite close this out officially, but essentially, yeah. So Kamala Khan dies in Amazing Spider-Man. For reference, she appears in 14 pages for a total of like 23 panels across like 40 issues of story. And then in the Spider-Man book, and then she's killed off. So for the longest time, it was assumed that, oh, Zeb Wells did this because they're hacks and they wanted to bring everything in line with the MCU. And we recently got a confirmation that the entire thing wasn't ordered by Wells or anybody in Marvel Comics, but rather Kevin Feige himself, because he apparently called up. Yeah, I know. He apparently called up Wells.
Two things can be true at the same time, though.
Absolutely true. Good holding me to that. You're right, Josh. But so, gosh, Zeb Wells is just the worst. He's just the worst person, the worst writer. Go away. But anyway, so yeah, Cody Ziegler, he was a writer on Amazing Spider-Man, currently writing Miles Morales. He is the writer who invented Miles's like spider energy sword, which is completely stupid. But he revealed that, yeah, Feige was the order to kill Kamala came from Feige, because Feige specifically had things they wanted to do in the MCU. Now, I've seen this come out in a lot of the replies to the story, both on the site, both on Twitter. And yes, this does happen a lot. It's this concept of movie synergy that I complain about a lot on this stream, which is we often see characters in comics or video games or whatever changed to be brought more in line with whatever version is currently being promoted or marketed, right? For example, in the Marvel comics, they killed off Nick Fury to replace him with his bastard biological son he didn't know he had, who was black. And guess what? Hey, now we have the black Nick Fury in continuity, right? So oftentimes when they do synergy moves like this, it's always ham-fisted. Like it never feels natural. Everybody can tell, like, oh, you're doing this for the movie. You're doing this because X, Y, and Z is coming out. Like, okay, whatever. And more often than not, as Cider can attest to, whatever that initiative is, whatever change they make will almost immediately be undone once the product, like if it fails or if it doesn't like blow everybody away, it'll be abandoned in like a year. Like everybody will forget that plot line or that suit or whatever they tried. For those of you who don't remember, there's when Captain America came back and he was a Hydra Yahtzee, right? Under Nick Spencer. I know, awful story, but they gave him that, like, he has a suit in that comic that is almost 1-to-1 for his like Endgame suit. And it's just like, I see what you're doing there. The MCU cap suit is very different from the comic book cap suit. You're not fooling anybody. And they don't use that suit anymore. It's just been abandoned. But so what this really, what my real point in highlighting the story, sort of bringing it out there, is showing just how sort of desperate and what's the right word? Like, there's no plan over there at Marvel. If you're going, oh, I got to do this with Kamala, hey, can you just throw this into your comic book storyline and do it? That is not how, like, that shows me you don't have any real creative writing chops. There's nothing really going on there, especially with how they handled Kamala, because it's like, kill off this character who's unrelated in a book that nobody is reading, that isn't related to her, and we're going to bring her back as a mutant for Krakoa because she's a mutant in the MCU. Like, it's just so transparent, it's so lazy, and that's really, like, it's just desperation, right, out of Marvel. Yeah. Because remember, guys, this order, I don't think I specifically highlighted it, but Miss Marvel came out in 2022. Its final episode aired in like August.
Wrong Kamala.
God, wrong Kamala. Oh gosh, no. She would be like Bizarro. She would think she's being a superhero, but she's clearly just destroying everything.
Yeah, there's only one part on her that stretches.
Well, bye guys. There goes the stream. But oh gosh, I don't even remember what we were talking. Oh yeah, so the series ends airing in 2022. At the end of that last episode, they have that awful teaser where they reveal that Kamala is the MCU's first mutant. Ooh, and they play the theme, right? The X-Men theme, and it's like, oh gosh, here come mutants. This storyline where they killed Kamala to make her a mutant didn't happen until like a year later. So that means they went, oh, she's a mutant, and then kind of just like forgot to put their cards in order and then scrambled to do their homework at the very last minute.
Look,
don't ask questions, just consume product and then get excited for next product.
I mean, what am I supposed to be excited for at this point out of them?
Silver Surfer boobies. Yay, chrome boobies. That's what we wanted. Man. We wanted chrome boobies. Yeah.
You know exactly how to get to the you know what the audience wants, Marvel. You deserve all the success you've had.
You deserve to make $1 million.
Well, you guys saw the Stellar Blade article that came out today, right? About the male gaze.
I saw the headline. I have not clicked on it. Oh, have you read it?
Mm-hmm. I did a thread on it, and
oh boy,
yeah, it was somewhat balanced. They had this. It's just weird that it was a male feminist, and the woman they interviewed actually had some reasonable points, but minus a couple things. But the author actually started the article defending Sweet Baby Inc. and then at the end, like, defended Alyssa McConte as well. And I just,
of course, it's not as intense as it was a couple weeks ago, but we're still in that circling the wagons phase. Like, we are going to keep seeing all these articles trickle out defending the Sweet Baby side, defending Kotaku's journalism, the Verge's, and again, journalism. It's all annoying. Like, what did we have last week? We had the CBC Radio last week. Like, they came out and they did this article about the whole shebang, and they quoted Cabrutus, who was the guy who started the original Sweet Baby Inc. Detected Steam group, and in quoting him, right? Like, you know how if you quote somebody, you if they're important, you'll put their title. It'll be like Donald Trump, President of the United States, or like Stan Lee, head, like COO of Marvel Comics. In the, oh my gosh, what was I trying to say? In the CBC Radio article, they end it with Cabrutus leader of the cyber harassment campaign. Like
Yes!
they outright labeled him as like a cyber harasser, just completely like blew their cards.
We
And
need
it was like, are you
Cabrutus like on a red t-shirt with like a beret that has like Sweet Baby on it with a line through it, right? And he's like Che Guevara, right? We just walk around wearing this. Who is this? He's a South American liberator. That's all you have to tell him is South American liberator. And they're like, yeah, Cabrutus, Cabrutus, Cabrutus. Just people chanting his name all over the world, not knowing why. It'll be great.
Like it's Cabrutus. Well, Cabrutus, it's not. They're not harassing him as much anymore as Mark Kern, aka Grums. He's the one that's being harassed, but he's fighting back on it. For me, like in terms of my coverage,
I am
that
not
I've
a
been
Grums
doing,
fan.
I'm not including like straight up harassment on Grums. I'm just focused because he's been going back and forth with them. I'm just focusing on when these people in the industry are attacking gamers as a whole. I figured that would be the safest thing to do because I really do. I've already had to deal with a bunch of burner accounts getting all pissy at me over a clown emoji. It's happened twice. I swear.
What you did? You posted something like
it was
in the last few days
when she left Twitter, and
no, it wasn't that. No. Because what I was going to say, you posted something recently about like sexy, attractive characters or whatever. And you've had so many people in your like mentions calling you like porn addict, incel. And it's like, do you realize you're talking to like a woman? I don't think you realize you're talking to a woman, even though her avatar is like right there and says Packer girl. Like how do you miss that?
Brutus.
Yes.
Remember what the tweet was. It was for the alloy comparison because someone did an AI.
That's what it was.
Alloy.
Yeah.
And like I looked at the comments in QRTs. I'm like, God, these people are just a bunch of clowns. I used the hot anime girl and this is porn meme, and people got all.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. Yeah, it's insane that is like that. The accusation that again we talk about this a lot. It is they are the people who yell at you, not just you nerdigans, but like the collective we. If anybody yells at you about liking attractive characters and calls you a porn addict, that is a complete projection because that is them making the leap that if I want to if I'm seeing somebody attractive, it has to be for hypersexualized. I need to get off right now reasons, and that is not. I don't know about all of you guys out there or all you gals out there, but if I see an attractive person on the street as a normal functioning human, I can go, oh, wow, they're very pretty. Oh, wow, that guy's looking good. Good fashion. I don't have to go, I need to take care of myself right now. It's not even like the thought that jumps to my mind, but it's the thought that jumps to their mind. That's exactly that's my thoughts on it.
Well, yeah, like something that I've been saying, because some of my mom's friends are first and second wave feminists. I actually talked to them about the third and fourth wave. They hate them. They hate them so much.
Most do.
Something that I like saying is when they say sexual objectification, I say sexual liberation, because that's what the women's movement was about back in the day, was about being liberated. They would our foremothers would hate this. They would hate this so much. But yeah, I agree with this. Admiring God's handiwork doesn't mean you're addicted to porn. No,
it doesn't.
I admire female characters all the time. I mean, I've been posting panels from a manga that I'm binge reading, 2.5D Seduction. I'm not looking forward to when that anime comes out.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get the discourse. We're gonna have to cover that.
Oh yeah, we will have the discourse because you have it's kind of like My Dress Up Darling, but with erotic characters from erotic series. So yeah, it's not going to be pretty when that anime comes out.
Like part of me hopes that we'll get to the point by the time, because that's if and when it gets an adaptation. It's not going to happen.
No,
for
it
like
is getting an adaptation. The
anime
is coming out this year.
Oh, they already did.
It's not out yet. It's coming out though this year. That's why I started binge reading it.
I didn't even know it got announced. But yeah, okay. So let me rephrase. When that comes out, if we haven't gotten to the point where all of these crybaby like Puritans have like gone out of the industry, it's definitely going to be a very, very, very bad time for all of us. Like it still continues to be a very, very bad time on this front for all of us.
I'm surprised I didn't say anything about Hokkaido gals, because I wish I just finished binge reading. Because the gals up in there are big-breasted, sexy women, and
here's why. Here's why they don't say anything, Nerdigans. It's because they don't know it exists. It is not that is not an entry-level series. That is not an easy thing to get into. You have to sort of know, and like if you are a casual anime fan, right, Nerdigans, like an American anime fan, you like, you know, regular shonen stuff, you're not going to see an ad for Hokkaido girls at like on the Crunchyroll app, or you're not going to see it in a Hot Topic. So you're going to, if you're somebody who knows about it, you're sort of like in the mix, like you or I would be. That's why all the things that really, really, really get the discourse are, it's entry level stuff, because they don't have to put in any effort. They can literally just go, oh, this image of One Piece came across my feed. Rabble. Remember, they don't put in any
the amount of discourse.
Right? Like they don't, a lot of these activists, a lot of these people who cry and screech, they're not actually putting in any work to go research things or you know, like look at anything. They are just going, this came across my feed, let me retweet it with something completely hyperbolic and out of pocket. And that's not just like liberal people either. Like horseshoe theory in this regard of sexy characters is very, very, very
you saw
real.
it with the calendars, the conservative calendars. They went nuts.
They went
nuts
bonkers.
over pie. So
yeah,
and I do want to give like a real example of this. We'll give a real example of this.
Yes.
When I was creating the intro for this show today, I asked myself, I said, all right, this is a very respectful, fictional representation of Nerdigans. And then I said, you know what, though? She's going to be insulted if I just wrap her up like a Twinkie for the entire intro. Because she doesn't even present herself like that. And that's really what people have to remember about this, is that you'll hear women all the time say, I don't dress like this for you. Well, 50-50, but we need to respect that she's dressing like that. Exactly. But she respects she's dressing like that. And so that's what I bared in mind when I put this together for this second part of it. All right. Now I know the glasses are melting, but this is why I put this in there, is that I said, all right, this is okay. This is tasteful. This isn't crazy. This isn't swinging nipple tassels. This is how Nerdigans presents herself. And this is why a lot of these people do not understand. A lot of the folks that go crazy at you on Twitter about this stuff is they don't understand that you yourself present yourself this way. You yourself view, I guess, God's handiwork. View yourself as God's handiwork, that kind of way. So why then would you go around insisting that other people cover themselves up when they don't want to do that? If you yourself want to be covered, that's fine. But when you start insisting it, you end up with this situation where Mark Kern becomes the face of male sexual liberation. And I never in my life would have considered Mark Kern to do greater favors for the male sexual condition than Andrew Tate.
I kind of want to Photoshop like a rose in his mouth now.
But something in terms of covering up and whatnot, I used to be a lot more covered up because I wanted people to watch my content for me, not for, my body. But then when the Fire Force chapters came out in regards to the war on sexuality.
That's
when I changed my mind, because I covered those chapters too.
Yes, you did. Yeah, you were on that.
But yeah, so when the war on sexuality came out, or sex appeal. That's it. I'm sorry. It was right after the war on reboot.
Same thing. Yeah.
Fantastic. But yeah, when that came out, I was like, yeah, I can't do this with all these psycho feminists anymore, trying to body shame people like me. So fuck it. I'm gonna fuck what I was originally doing. I'm gonna wear less clothing, or be a lot more open on top, so that way, I could show that it's okay to
have
more revealing is the word you're looking
I can't
for.
help that I have boobs.
There you go, Josh. Yes. Right. And that's like a lot of so Cider brought up a really good point, right? Which is that
boobs, yes,
boobs, very, very much boobs. But Cider was talking about women like Nerdigans who like to present themselves, show off their femininity, their body or whatever. Oh no! Oh gosh, did I just like totally lose my train of thought? Anyway, I think I did.
Please do that.
Holy crap! Oh yes, they do that. But now I remember. So Cider's asking like, what do they say to those women? Like, what's your argument against them? And this is, I think, like ground zero for one of the most insidious liberal tactics that we've seen lately, which is the combination of like moving goalposts and creating new definitions of words, because what I've seen this argument, pretty much since the beginning of like 2014 when this all started, of sexy women, sexy characters, don't cover them. Do we all remember like the Hawkeye initiative? Does anybody remember that?
Yeah,
I know Cider will. And so for those who don't remember, there was this initiative. It was like an art like challenge thing going around the internet in like 2009, where everybody went, oh, so like, it's so gross how female comic book characters are sexualized in art. We're going to draw Hawkeye in that same pose as Spider-Woman or Carol Danvers, and we'll show you how like awkward and gross and weird it is.
Oh god, that Tumblr crap. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. That's exactly what it started on Tumblr. And so since those days, anytime an attractive woman, comes out and says, oh, I like my body, I want to do whatever, you get hit with, what is it, everyone? Internalized misogyny, right? Like that's always what it is. They made up a definition, right? They made something up so that when that argument because you can't beat back that argument. If you go to Nerdigans and you go, hey, cover up, that's like, I don't agree with that, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, I don't want to. It's my, like, I want to do what I want. Unless we're in Saudi Arabia, that's really, you
I'd
can't.
be killed anyway.
You absolutely. Double spicy. There's the second takedown of the night. Got him. But like once you get to that, like that is the end. There's no amount of like, well, I think this thing, well, I think that, blah, 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 that will change Nerdigans' mind. So what do? You have to convince her that she isn't aware of how little she knows. She is stupid. That's essentially what's happening. They're going, you're stupid, and you don't know that what you're doing is like that. I don't like what you're doing. And it's just, you see it with internalized anything, misogyny, racism, what's it, like a homophobe. I saw it the other
transphobia.
all that stuff.
I've seen that a lot in the video game, anime, and I wouldn't say manga space so much, but definitely the anime and video game side of things. I've definitely seen a lot more of that. But yeah, it's just projection. And when I deal with these trolls, if you follow me on Twitter, you know this. When I deal with these trolls and I see them in my DMs or in my comments, I call their asses out and call them a bigot.
As you should. As you should.
Well, and speaking of people who project, Ubisoft Star Wars Outlaw faces. That's a fun pun right there. Faces massive backlash.
I didn't even realize that. Good job, Ryan. That wasn't even me. That was Ryan.
That's a fun pun right there. But absurd releasing pricing, protagonist in-game model looking worse than a real-world actress. Yeah, I don't know where this came from. This is a man's face. I think I passed this guy at the grocery store before.
You mean the butt chin? Because people are saying, oh, if you look at some of my threads I posted, there's one video game industry person that was saying that I look like this. I'm not a man. It's like,
no, it's like a it's like a femme swapped Clint Eastwood. That's what it is.
It is the guy from Stranger Things. Like, what's his name? Eddie or whatever? Like the kid with the
Billy.
Whichever one of them. I know there's somebody not Billy, the other one, because there's Billy, and then like a season later that like Rockstar, or not Rockstar, but like the heavy metal kid comes in and he looks like him, and he also looks like one of the antagonists from the Warriors. I know that almost anybody who's seen the discourse around this game has seen that gif of the Warriors guy. So looks just like, to me, this looks like, I see so for those who don't know, Star Wars Outlaws, brand new video game coming out of Ubisoft, Star Wars game. You can kind of probably tell what it's going to be right off the bat. If you watch the gameplay trailer or the story reveal trailer, it is basically, you can tell they're really taking inspiration from Assassin's Creed, because Ubisoft is lazy and hasn't had an innovative thought in a decade and a half. But yeah, so with this reveal, we got this first look, or not first look, but a better look at the game's protagonist. And yeah, it's really, really, really not great. So, as you can see here, this is the character. Her name is Kay Vess. She is looking a little rough, a little has a very defined chin, especially if you at like, it's kind of hard to see right here because of like the shading that comes around her neckline. But if you go in like and follow that chin line up, like you can definitely see it's like the crimson chin. But
you mean it's just like Jay Leno?
It's really bad. So you can actually see right here. Yeah, that's her actress on the left.
That's
and
painful,
she is
dude.
she is gorgeous.
Spencer, yeah, that's just she should sue. Like, really. So she should take the studio to court and be like, whoa, no, look what you did to the ginger made out better, okay? Like, he's 1-to-1. He got a tan.
The ginger is getting replaced in like the next game, whatever, by a BIPOC person.
No, it's okay because his master is Deborah Wilson, who is a BIPOC. So that's okay.
You're right. So long as a BIPOC is telling the white man what to do, everything's all right in the universe. The force is balanced,
always.
Right?
The force is female, correct.
This is nuts. This is absolutely nuts looking at this. Like
you brought it up. Yeah. No, keep going.
She should sue. She should sue. Now, I'm not trying to joke. Like, if you think about this, right? This is how people are going to recognize her voice. I don't know about you, but when I'm listening to somebody's voice, even if they're playing a character, I have an idea of what they look like in real life. Most of the time, they're right. Most of the time. The only one that ever threw me was Dahi Denogla, and he sounded like he was a 6'8" black guy. And it turns out he was a 6'8" white guy. So I still had the height right. But yeah. This is like that trans actress who sued over being turned into a monster.
Oh yeah,
wants to sue over that.
Daylight. Yeah.
This is an even stronger case because they turned her into a monster in a not horror game. Like the lights go on in the morning, early in the morning after some like beer goggle nights, and that's staring at you. Like, I don't know you, but I'm headed out the window, even if it's the second floor.
Cider, that's literally the beer goggles version. And in the morning, like when you wake up.
It is.
Even if it is our own flat, Josh, absolutely. It's not going to stop us.
Nice to meet you. Bye. And you just
right.
leave. I'm
not even saying anything. I'm just going.
You don't have my number, right? Bye.
Did I give you my name? Cool. Later. I have to go to the bathroom real quick. But that was I'm not actually going. But so you actually touched upon you touched upon this earlier, right, Cider? Like when you were talking about how you made Nerdigans in the intro, like you thought about what she looked like, how she presents herself, and you tried to make some accurate level, working within the context of our fiction of us all being super badass space heroes, but it still looks like Nerdigans. This is genuinely insulting. And so a lot of people have been saying like, oh, it's just bad lighting. It's just bad angles in the trailer. And I'm going to say this. There are some angles and lighting moments in the trailer that are particularly bad. As somebody, if anybody out there is a like film cinematographer nerd or a general video game nerd, you're going to see like, oh, those graphics are off, or, ooh, that shot was like really bad. And yes, in some of those shots, she looks particularly awful. However, there are other shots in the game and other images of her model that aren't, it makes it, if the bad shots are made, if she's like a 3 in those bad shots, the good shots make her like a 5. She looks better, right? Like she looks better. This doesn't even look like that same character. That looks like the actress. I haven't seen this piece of concept art or promo art, but like that looks that looks way more like the actual actress we were looking at. And somebody brought it up. I cannot see. I don't remember who said it. Not Rachel Zegler. Anyway. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go, Nardigans.
Now that you mentioned Rachel Zegler, there's a rumor going around that they replaced the poisoned apple in the Rachel Zegler Snow White.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Is it like an iPhone now?
We literally don't know. That's just the rumors that they're doing, quote, something different with the apple. So that's just going to be a complete dumpster fire whenever that comes out. Like, I am not excited for that. But so somebody said in the chat, I don't remember exactly who, but the like they look like Eddie Van Halen, like they have that matted like 80s hair. I get the aesthetic they're going for. They're trying to recreate the 1980s as if this was coming right out of Star Wars, like episode 4, episode 5, because that's like, just side note, that's how awful Disney Star Wars has gotten. Like they only play it, they know that nobody wants post Star Wars or post sequel trilogy stuff, so they keep jamming everything into like the 20 years or whatever between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. It's just really funny. It's so stupid, but yeah, that's what they're going for. They just didn't execute it. Like I am insanely, it is baffling looking at the concept art and looking at how more accurate that is to the actual actress. That in the concept art, that's where I can go, I see the actress and I can see what they were going for. She doesn't look as pretty as like her normal photo, but that's because the character is supposed to be sort of rough and tumble, ragtag. I get that, but I can see that it's the actress. This is completely out of left field. And like you were saying, Cider, I would sue. Like, this is a genuine insult. If I signed up for a game and they made me look this awful, I would be pissed. And, you know, for all those people going, oh, it's so hard to render, literally look at any Hideo Kojima game, especially Death Stranding, which its cast is oh, go Josh, yeah.
Do you remember that Simpsons? Hopefully everybody's seen The Simpsons here. So do you remember, any of you remember that Simpsons episode where Lisa is drawn like a cartoon character, you know, and she's drawn ugly, and that drives Homer to, you know, sign her up for a beauty pageant,
like a beauty pageant,
like a beauty pageant contest. It's the same thing. Like, just imagine what this is doing to the actress or whatever. It's like no, we're just making sure that we're developing this whatever human female character into like whatever they want to push a narrative, blah. But it's just, it's like not even thinking about the repercussions, because it's like, again, how you could be like making somebody feel like, you know, like the Lisa Simpson thing. You make them feel bad for this, and it's like, I don't know if there's any coming back from it. It's like one thing. I don't know if you could like sue them if you feel bad. If there's like in your contract, like, once you see the end product, you can't complain because it's like and it's in the contract or whatever.
I'm sure there's like, I think you're right, Josh. She probably can't outright sue and say you made me look ugly, because there's probably something in her contract that says like, we can use your likeness however we want.
We can ug you up if we want.
Yeah, right. Like,
we've
there's
been
probably
seeing it for
something
years
like
as
that.
well, like the Aloy character as well.
Yeah.
Like the same thing. So in the first game, it's not. It's what?
Oh, it makes me so sad. Aloy is one of my favorite modern video game characters. She's quippy, she's intelligent, she's capable, she's overconfident, and then they turned her into a ham planet.
Everything they did with Forbidden West is like insanely stupid. It is like Horizon Zero Dawn, the first one. It is a pretty basic, pretty I don't want to say generic, but like a very straightforward, that's the right term, like a very straightforward post-apocalyptic, what is going on in this world, you know, sort of story, which I would like. I'm not the biggest fan of Horizon Zero Dawn, but admittedly, like the setting and its story sort of was like, oh, that's neat. Like, okay, if this was something else, maybe I'd be into it. I just didn't really care about Horizon. In the second one, they go full, like, it is what happens every time one of these big Western developers has a hit or whatever. Like, what is it? Forbidden West goes full on, like, propaganda is probably the most appropriate word to put here, because like it goes into, Aloy is the strongest character of all time. She don't need no help from anybody. She's, you know, the bestest ever. And all of the villains are tech CEOs, the rich people who hate us. And like literally the main bad guy is almost one-to-one a Jeff Bezos stand-in. And
yeah, you can tell that Sweet Baby Inc. definitely had influence there. Because I know they had influence with Horizon, Forbidden West, God of War, Ragnarok, I think it was. And and
a lot of notice, and guys, notice those were just a handful that Nerdigans listed. Notice what they all have in common. those are all Sony titles. Like all of those titles are owned and produced by Sony Studios. So when Sweet Baby Inc. tries to say we don't really have a presence, we don't really whatever, they're not being contracted specifically by like the Spider-Man team or the Horizon team. It is Sony going like, hey, we have this partnership. You should bring them in to, look at your game. And this is what happens. Like, this is where everything goes off the rails.
Yeah, I almost forgot. Of course, Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. They were part of it too. I mean, the CEO of Sweet Baby Inc. If you go look at her IMDb, she's listed there as a writer.
I mean, we knew that from just what they were listing on the site. Like that's one of the. We don't need to really get into too much into Sweet Baby because we've covered them. There's nothing really new. But one of the things I'll always point out with Suicide Squad is, since that was like the catalyzing game that really brought Sweet Baby to everybody's attention, a lot of people were calling out like, wow, you guys screwed this game up. This game has awful writing. We hate these quips. We hate that in the in-game profiles, you have Lex Luthor praising Wonder Woman and the Amazons for solving toxic masculinity. Why Deadshot calls Green Lantern one of the good black ones, right? Like, or makes fun of him for being like pro-authority as a black person. All of that stuff. And Sweet Baby came out and they're like, oh, no, we didn't write it. Go look at our website. You'll see exactly how much input we had. It literally lists like dialogue, quips, menu like entries, journal entries. It's like, that's literally it. Then you are literally telling us what you did. Stand by your work if you're going to do this. Don't try and, don't piss on me and tell me it's raining. It's so bad. But yeah, that in Outlaws, I feel genuinely bad for the woman. I feel like I don't even know if it's like how do you, we've gotten to such a weird point where like, it's bad to be attractive, like period. And I just like, what do you do when you go to that actress and you go, oh, hey, we made you uglier? And the normal response would probably, unless she has already like drunk the Kool-Aid, the response is going to be like, what the hell is that? And this isn't even like a beauty thing, like an objective, oh, I think she's attractive thing. It's the fact that it doesn't look like her. If you guys go out and you get a caricature or somebody, makes a cake topper for your wedding and you look messed up, you're going to be upset. Even if you're a big 800-pound fatty fat and you're an 800-pound fatty fat, you go get your wedding cake and it's like, oh, perfect. The guy's a big fatty fat, but for some reason you made me not have pants on or something, or you made it look like my face is melting. I don't like this. I don't want that. Like it's so, this video game model scanning, or what am I trying to say here? Video games seem to be the only real commodity that it's okay to, for lack of a better term, fuck up your work. Right, like
American cartoons are dealing with that too. Let's be real, but like and comics too. Now that I think about it,
but the difference is, Nerdigans, is that those are you're in comics and in animation. Like those characters are generally not based on real people. They are, yes, they're being drawn more ugly, but they're also like they're fictional. Hawkeye can look a million different ways. Peter Parker has looked 1,000 different ways. Yes, there are ways like their standard looks, but in terms of video games, we're seeing like them take actual, like, this is a person. This is who it is. This is a real face. We've completely modeled it. We scanned it, and we are going to, scribble all over it. And it's so bizarre because in no other industry would anybody really accept that. Like if we had for example, let's look at like Ahsoka, right? If Ahsoka came out and Rosario Dawson's costume looked terrible and their makeup job made her look 900 years old and everybody just went, this looks bad, she's not going, and I use Rosario specifically because of all the, shilly people, she's probably one of the more honest. She's not going to stand there and go like, oh, this is great, I look perfect. She's going to go, yeah, they really messed me up here. And I don't really know what's going on. Or fans will ask that. But in video games, it's completely fine to go,
Spencer, we were denied. Okay. Rosario Dawson, she tried real hard to pull it off, but there was one actor that was truly meant for the role.
Got me! I am Ahsoka now! Look at me. I am Ahsoka now. Look at me. I am Ahsoka now.
I am Ahsoka.
Denied.
But like,
denied.
I'm gonna say this about
I know.
Star Wars Outlaws, though, is that at least she looks better than whatever happened to Tanya. Like, because Tanya's model is gorgeous. But
Tanya in Mortal Kombat 11.
oh god, it looks so bad. It looks nothing like her at all. It's horrible.
And that's where it's like, to that, the reason I brought up, like, is it in her contract? What can she do? I don't think it's there now, but I think going forward in the next few years, you might start seeing actors go, hey, I want my likeness to actually look like me. I don't want to look like a weird potato spud person that doesn't look anything like me.
Don't make me look like Eddie Van Halen.
Right, exactly. And like this also sort of speaks to another problem, which is like, stop using actors in video games for the love of God, because it sort of is like immersion breaking. Like, you can make original characters in video games. You can make your own models. Not everybody has to look like Deborah Wilson with her eyeballs popping out of her damn head. Maybe I'm just sick of Deborah Wilson. She is in literally fucking everything.
You're not alone.
Like,
I watch a lot of Let's Players. It's one of my hobbies.
Yeah.
Just have that stuff on all the time.
Oh yeah.
And Oni Plays, Game Grumps, even John Tron and the Vanos crew have all mentioned that this lady has got to go. They just, she's everywhere. I think Oni Plays said, for the love of God, just forget about her. Delete all the files with her face. I'm terrified when she comes on screen. It's just like headlights are right hitting you.
Dude, it is, I don't know, like, I don't know why she started becoming the face of video games. I don't know why she's in everything.
Aaron Hansen said it's because she looks like a 3D model already.
Honestly, that's pretty good. I could believe that.
Oh my god.
But yeah, she's been in Star Wars. She's been in Suicide Squad. She's in Destiny. She's in literally almost every major AAA title you've played in the last couple years. It is ridiculous. And it's like I don't know. It's like, that's Deborah Wilson. It's not a character. It's like, you're just being yourself with a different name tag. Yes, Leslie, she's got those Lori Lightfoot eyes. She really does. Like, they always look like they're, and it's weird because if you go look at her appearances over the last few years in video games, it looks like she gets progressively more like a bug-eyed with each modeling. And I don't know if that's a medical problem or if that's like an art problem, but somebody should probably talk about that.
The other thing I have to bring up too, because it's been driving me nuts as you're mentioning actors, is can we please actually get professional voice actors to voice animated characters? And not only that, I really can't stand the race-based casting that's happening in the anime English dub space. They admitted it. I mean, I covered it. They admitted that they are doing race-based casting in anime dubs now. I think they're doing it in video games now too. But
well, we've known they've been doing this for years. Like, this is not a new development. Like, one of the first ones I can remember is Ramthel in Guilty Gear Strive. She is a black or like a tan-skinned character, and when Strive came out, they replaced her voice actress with she's Nerdigans, you would probably know her. She's a black voice actress. She's in like Inaris Canones. Is that her? Right? Is that the name?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. They replaced her with that. Obviously, like X-Men 97, the voice actor for Jubilee was replaced because she wasn't Asian. And no, like, it is that is a huge problem because it just goes against everything that acting is supposed to be. I mean, that's what Billy D. Williams, just last week, he was on the Bill Maher show, and they got onto the topic of actors performing in blackface, and Billy just went, I don't care. Like, if you're an actor, that's what you're supposed to do. Like, you use the tools available to you to embody a different character.
A black guy voiced Samurai Jack over the course of 20 years.
I'm glad you bring that up because that is one of the main, okay, so when all of this race-based casting crap started like popping up and everybody said, oh, representation, blah, blah, blah. So the voice of Samurai Jack is a voice actor very prominent by the name of Phil Lamar. You guys absolutely have heard him in everything. He is, off the top of my head, he was Green Lantern in Justice League. He was Jon Stewart. He was Wilt in Foster's Shock. Yeah, he was Static himself. He was Wilt in Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. He is everywhere. Like this guy is very prominent. Also,
Same with
fun
Cree
fact.
Summer, before I forget. Cree Summer has played everything.
Right. Cree Summer's there, but we're not talking about Cree right now. We're
No,
talking
we're talking
specifically about Phil because he has there he said a very specific thing. So also fun fact, Phil Lamar, if you guys have seen Pulp Fiction, he is the black guy that gets his head blown off in the back of the car. Yep. That's actually him. But when this all started, Phil Lamar came out and was like, yeah, absolutely, people should, be, cast by their race. And people brought up, hey, you're in Samurai Jack, that's Asian, should you keep that role? And he basically was like, keep my name out of your mouth, that's not even the same thing, how dare you? And it's like,
Asian people aren't real.
What
are you talking about?
We are like the lowest rank, even though we have the most money.
Apparently.
Well, yeah, you guys are right. Well, you guys have joined Jews on the white adjacent side.
Yeah,
so.
we absolutely have. Thanks, Harvard.
Well, there was a medical study that came out a couple of years ago that said the Japanese are white. So
I remember that. That was so stupid. And it was like,
I mean, I don't know. I think Minato Abe was like, I'm okay with this. This is what we wanted since the Dutch arrived. So
this is the end result of the Shogun series. Is this?
Meanwhile, there's an old Dutch man in like a tulip closet going, mission accomplished.
We did it. Yeah, volume dealer, dead end storage guy. That's Phil Lamar. But yeah, like it's such that's why I brought it up, because all of this, that's sort of how that none of this is really based in any actual principles outside of I want more, like me, because we have Phil, and then I know the one I'm surprised you didn't bring it up, Nerdigans, but Sungwon Cho, the Pro ZD a couple months ago went, we have an article on the site.
Guy.
Yeah, he basically came out and went, I can't believe that what was his story? He was like, I tried out for an anime and they only gave me the Asian characters. And I said, can I play anything else? And they said, well, these are the parts for Asian people. And I can't believe they're doing that. And it's like, if you go through his history of interviews and stuff, he is like, yes, we should cast characters by race because that's like appropriate. That's what it should be. So, but then the second it doesn't work out for him, this is wrong. This isn't how it should go. Blah, 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 blah. That's, again, I talk about this all the time. These types do not think more than, they don't even think ahead, right? No. Like they do what gets them a win in the moment. And then, whatever may come. On the topic of things like working out exactly how people wanted, one of the ones I'm surprised hasn't come up a lot more in terms of the recent discourse. Again, check the coverage on Bounding. Anita Sarkeesian of Feminist Frequency. Couple years, I think like a year or two now at this point, Nerdigans, like she came out and she was like, the industry is more like progressive and DEI now. And that's bad. It's not working the way it should be. This is hurtful. And it's like, you asked for this. You don't get to blame all of us now that your plan worked. You know what I mean? And it's just, shut the hell up.
Well, I mean, look at what, I don't know if you guys have been seeing, I've been covering it, about Brianna Wu. Like ever since what happened on October 7th, she has flipped. And now everyone is going in on her. Like the leftists that loved her, they hate her now. Because she's like the new, I've been calling her this. She's the new J.K. Rowling. She is calling out like trans activists. She's calling out leftists. And it's just insane. I'm like, what is this timeline?
Wait, like, it's insane that Brianna Wu is now like using the same talking points that we all have, like all the same criticisms rather. Because, and I think that just goes to show how absolutely stupid a lot of the rhetoric coming out of, like the neoliberal side truly is. How, what am I trying to say? Like how ineffective, how just there's no substance to anything they want, right? Like they demand all these things and then they complain when it works out. So why are we going to ever appease you? We are definitely in a period of socio-political view shifting, if you will. Like we know that a lot of ESG and DEI stuff is being rejected. It is being pushed out of various countries. I'm not sure if you guys saw, if anybody is on Twitter, but there's a story going around right now. I forget the exact outlet, but Klaus Schwab of the WEF, he
Guten
has come
Tag,
out.
mein Freunde.
Guten Tag, mein Freunde. Kyle Shabin. Yeah, Kyle Shabin has come out and he's like angry that money is being lost in like DEI, ESG like projects. And we obviously have seen everything failing over at Disney. We have seen almost every video game in recent months that, you know, goes super hard into this ideology fail. The comic books that push this stuff are absolutely getting decimated by the books that don't do this, right? Like the best-selling book right now out of Marvel Comics is a Spider-Man comic where Peter Parker is in a happy married relationship with a woman with 2 kids and supports them, and they are a family, right? You know what's not selling that hot? Any book starring America Chavez, any book starring, you know, any of those Pride books that they put out, whether it's for Pride. Yeah, Ironheart is not selling. She doesn't even have her own book right now, right? Miss Marvel only gets by being associate. No, it's still in development.
Yeah, the show is coming.
Bro.
Like that's the thing is like, you know, I wish Jacob was here because he and I talk about this all the time. But with Ironheart, he and I are both so torn because we think there's like 2 ways it could play out, right? It's either going to get scrapped later down the line, or it's going to be an absolute Echo level disaster. Because this show, they announced it right before Wakanda Forever, no updates on it. For a while, it was taken completely off of their development schedule. Like it did not get a release date. Every time they said, like, remember everybody in the chat, like back in like November, October, they did all those reshufflings of the schedules, like the Marvels has to be moved, Deadpool, blah, blah, blah. And they did it like 3 times. And in each of those 3 announcements, like in that period, no mention of Ironheart. And then last month, Dominique Thorne, yeah, there it is. Oh gosh, this freaking, oh my God, Agatha. Well, maybe, but yeah, so during this reshuffling period, Ironheart was gone. Nobody knew what was going on. Last month, Dominique Thorne, the woman who plays Ironheart, she was asked about it on the red carpet of some other movie she's in. I don't remember what it was, but she went, "Oh yeah, I'm excited for it. Can't wait for everybody to see it." Which is like, okay, that's confirmation technically, but that's also the most like canned Hollywood, like, you know, go get your tickets now sort of statement. And then they were asked recently about Ironheart, and the head of Marvel TV said something like, "Oh, it's being edited right now." And it's like, so we've gotten no updates about it. We have no leaks. We have no trailers. We have no promotional images. We don't have like, what are you doing over there with it? Is this still really a thing? Even when they talk about their roadmaps recently, they don't talk about Ironheart. I don't know where this thing is. It's going to be something to watch, or like the situation unfolding around it is going to be something to watch.
It's pure insanity what Marvel is doing. Like we've seen like a lot of stuff go on hiatus, like multiple times. I mean, we saw it with Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League is the best example, because that was in production for what, like over 10 years? And
10 years. No, that is accurate. 10 years it was in development, and we got what we got. Like that is, you know what, that always tells me that it was 10 years in development, that Warner Brothers like kept coming in and being like, "Hey, do this. Hey, add that. Hey, can you make the game like this? Can you make it a live service? Can you add that? Can you blah, 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 blah?" And that pushed it out. And it's like, okay, so it's in development for 10 years. And like all of these trends are things that people don't want anymore. Like they don't want live service. They don't want our favorite characters being crapped on. It's just, all of that is bad. All of that game, all of that development was bad. Let's see. There's
another one that's been going in and off hiatus. What was it?
Let's see. I wanted to bring up somebody's thing and I can't find it anymore. But yeah, somebody brought up Agatha. I don't remember where the comment is, but I don't know what the hell they're doing with this show either. Like, who wants?
I haven't heard anything about it. I've seen figures in the stores. Like,
yeah.
I'm obsessed with watching toy hunts because I just like it. Maybe it's
I love toy hunting. Yeah.
But well, if I had a car and more money, I'd be doing it myself, especially with all the anime figures being like under $20 at some stores. So
at some stores, yeah.
But yeah, it's God, I lost my train of thought.
We were talking about Agatha. Yeah,
Agatha had all these. There was all these Marvel Legends for Agatha, and they're gone now. They're probably at Ollie's or maybe even in the scrap heap or like the half off stores as well.
Somebody in our sphere, Nerdigans, I'm sure you're probably thinking of the same post I am. It was either like Neon over at Clownfish or somebody, but they were like, oh, they took a picture of an Agatha Marvel Legends figure on the shelf, and they're like, yeah, this is who everybody wants. This is the action figure. Like, Catherine Hahn, Agatha Harkness. This is going to sell like a total of five figures. There's no way anybody wants that.
If you ever watch World Class Bullshitters, Dismal Disney videos, and you see like what is at Ollie's, and there's tons of Eternals, there's tons of Shang-Chi on the shelves at Ollie's, and it's just collecting dust. There's still Last Jedi stuff there.
That's always going to be there. That will in the Fallout future, like when the bombs drop, that's going to be like currency. Like instead of Nuka-Cola caps, it's going to be like, oh, do you have a General Holdo? That's the only thing that's worth anything in these wastelands anymore. But I just want to make a quick point because you brought it up and it sparked a joy in me, Nerdigans. But I love toy hunting. Like when I was younger, I used to go to Targets and Walmarts to find the new Transformers releases, and I have all of those guys, and it's still one of my favorite hobbies. But here's where I'm sad nowadays is that we live in the age of the internet, right? Where I go, oh, I really, really want that Goku figure. Got it, done. And of course I'm going to order it online because it's going to be cheaper. And so I like this new, because you're right. For those who don't know, a lot of regular retailers or what am I trying to say? Like media retailers, so places where you would buy movies and stuff, they're starting to carry a lot of anime toys, and a lot of them often go on mad discount because reasons. I don't know. It's not that they're bad figures or anything, or I don't know why people aren't buying.
Walmart right now, from what I've been seeing, is that all the NECA figures are on sale. Like some of the $50 ones are like $25, and people are going nuts though over there. And anime figures are included in that too.
Well, the anime figures, you are starting to pop at places like what is it? FYE, right? Is that what that store is called?
Yeah, well, FYE is way more expensive, but Christmas or day after Thanksgiving, that's when the Bam Presto figures started popping up at TJ Maxx and Ross and Marshalls.
Okay, so that's
going.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. Yes, normally a store like FYE is expensive, and I wouldn't recommend anybody go buy anything at retail from something like that or like a Best Buy. But I brought it up specifically because I was in an FYE like a week ago, and oh man. Okay, so first off, they had those anime figures. They had like a bunch of them on discount. The Bam Presto statues, like even those awful like Q-pop doll figures that girls like. Like I hate them. People like them. They're out there.
They're cute for certain characters. They're cute for certain characters.
I will completely agree with you on that one. I will completely agree with you. There are some that are like, oh, it's adorable, and there are others that are like, that's a fucking nightmare. Get it away from me. But so like I've seen them there, and then what Nerdigans also said, they're at Ross's, they're at Marshalls, they're at TJ Maxx, they're at all these discount liquidator stores for whatever reason. Again, these are not Nerdigans are giving you we're recommending you go look for these figures because they are good figures. We wouldn't recommend trash. We wouldn't recommend a $5 whatever. Like these are really good figures that if you like the character or the series, snatch it up because it's a deal. So if you live close to any of those, go find them. And then this is why I paused real quick because I'm like, I'm gonna blow up my spot, but I feel like it's my duty as somebody who's here for you, the viewers. Pro tip for my fellow card game players: if you play One Piece, it is impossible to buy the cards anywhere. They get sold out immediately. If you try to buy them on secondhand market, booster packs are like a regular booster pack $250. On the secondary market, like $7-8. It is bad right now. But go check your local FYE. They have packs for some reason. They had an entire booster box just sitting there when I walked in. And then also just check any other store in malls. People don't go to malls, so all that stock that they order is just sitting there. Like it is.
There's also rare figures.
That's my
there
pro tip.
too.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I watched went in an FYE and they were like blown away because there was a like rare DC McFarlane figure at FYE, and they're like, "What the hell is that doing there? I can't find it anywhere."
But that's like what we forget is that those stores, an FYE in a mall, a GameStop in a, well, not a GameStop because they're very specific, but like an FYE in a mall or a Borders even, like, or a Barnes and Noble, they still order the same stock all these other stores do. But people, like, I admit, like, when I think, oh, I need to go buy cards or I need to go buy an anime figure, none of those the mall, just because of the era we live in, does not even cross my mind. I go, where are the closest Targets? Where are the closest card shops? Where are the closest comic book shops? They're all sold out because that's where everybody else is going too. And yeah, like if you play card games, you guys will know the insane feeling of walking into a store going, oh, everything is sold out everywhere, and seeing a fresh like booster box in front of you. Do you want to know? Okay, for you guys, like, this is going to make this story even more painful for everybody to listen to. So I walked into the FYE. I saw the boosters. I grabbed them. I was like, dude, I am buying these right now. Took them all up to the front, put them down, and I was like, oh shit, I left my wallet in the car. I can't pay with my card. So then I went, good thing I have my Apple phone or my iPhone, and I pulled out my Apple Pay. My phone died right when I was going to put it up to the register.
It's a sign.
Oh no, this is another sign happens, because then I went, oh crap, that's 2 for 2. I turned over to my girlfriend and I went, hey, can you spot me money? I will pay you back as soon as my phone gets money or like gets charge in it. And she whipped out her card and it was at the limit. And it was like, I am just not buying these. Like, clearly God does not want me to have these cards. So at that point I was just like, all right, like, put them back. Like, we're done here.
Listen, you're worried about the internet making toy hunting too easy. So I'm just going to help you with this. Okay. There's a whole new market out there that nobody's aware of. All right. Super change robot, supercar 2-in-1 towing vehicle. Okay.
Hold on. You got to add it, Signer.
Oh, I forgot.
It's not up. It's not up.
Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
I love these stupid toys. So, like Chinese, Mexican knockoff toys.
Yeah, they've become like a big collector market too.
Yeah.
But
See?
They have, surprisingly. Yeah, there we go.
I didn't know that Buzz Lightyear was in Avengers, but you know,
I'm not even entirely.
Version?
Well, who is that villain supposed to be under thing? Is that just like I look at that and I think Egghead from James Bond, and I'm just like,
it's supposed to be like Kingpin, but in blue. That's the only thing I could figure is it's Kingpin, but in blue. But,
that makes sense because he's got the cane.
You know, you remember like this Pixar's greatest like first hit just knocked it out of the park with Boy Deformation. Yep. And
oh, it becomes a truck. That is incredible.
Yeah. Buzz Lightyear, a space ranger, becomes a Peterbilt 18-wheeler tractor trailer. Super cool robot, a super robot, cool shape. Yep.
But I almost forgot too. I've been seeing that a lot more figures are heading into Five Below too, and I think there's more cards too. I know Pokemon cards are there. I'm not sure about.
Here's a toy for children who have IQs that are 5 below. Mighty Car.
I want that so bad. Why is that not we need to revive that? That is the greatest thing I've literally never seen that. And I'm completely
Mighty Driver,
completely
moving up and
it.
down automatically moving up and down. Driver with axe and rifle. That's not a rifle, and also the magazine is the handle.
Dude, it's so. The magazine is the handle. What's going on? Whoa, I didn't even
AI art.
That is crazy.
It's AI art because it's also like not skin color accurate Barabbas. Yeah. Like it's a little too. Oh wait, it's because it's lighting up. I just realized that's why he looks so light. The head of
the head flashes like a siren.
Yeah, it's flashing. Yeah, that is incredible. Oh my god, I want that so bad.
But you know what? I just remember this too.
Yes, I have this already.
As a lot more flea markets, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but a lot more flea markets have been getting more like cards and like figures, and you could buy them on.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, when you're at these flea markets, you need to keep your eye out for Breast Chaser.
Oh my god, I need that. Oh my god, I'm like typing that into eBay right now. That is
I know.
You need that like you
incredible.
need the Mexican Gundam.
So
Oh,
yeah, the
Tequila Gundam.
right?
Now.
Tequila Gundam and Breast Chaser. You know, they team up. Yeah, I am going to write a manga titled Breast Chaser about a mecha team that has to protect the U.S. from China, protect Japan from China. What happened in this particular?
That's
There's a story
incredible.
behind this. This is a real product. This isn't one of those Chinese bootlegs.
Right,
What
right.
actually happened was neither party spoke English or read English. So this Japanese company contracted a Chinese toy printer, a Chinese plastic company, to create these like mock Gundam models. And what it is it's a chest. Is what's neat about them is they have an interchangeable chest, as you can see here, has a
Right.
parachute style chest. He's meant to like fly, I guess, and whatnot. But you interplay. So unfortunately, the same word for chest is breast in the kanjis and how they moved over from the Japanese to Chinese, and that was that. It got ran over and it turned into Breast Chaser.
Literally, like
But-
Google translated like twice, like a game of Google Translate telephone.
We
That's
have to get to
incredible.
the
So
very
much snake comes
best.
in disguise.
We have to get to the very best, okay? The very best of all of them, and that is
Yes,
the
we
Sense
do.
of Right Alliance.
Oh my god!
You know your favorite heroes.
Oh god!
You know your favorite heroes: Batman, Superman, the Green Time Range, or who's that? It's SPD, the Green SPD Ranger, the Spider-Man, the Lightning McQueen, and
Blue
Shrek,
Lightning McQueen.
Blue Lightning McQueen.
Yeah,
That's
that's
his
a bit of
all.
a mix-up over here too.
Oh my god! The Shrek!
It's just
No!
repaints. I love it. They just
Cool.
throw different colors on them. But see,
But,
if you want the symbiote Spidey, you have to go with that package.
Someone actually created art for the Sense of Right
No.
Alliance. Yes, there is a Sense of Right Alliance promotional poster. Yep, right
Oh my
here.
god!
Here you go. Anticipation is over.
Yes. That I love that they're all bootleg looking too. Like they didn't
Yes,
like
that's
Superman
right.
doesn't have it.
You're
Oh,
bootleg
it's
with
so
the
great
Nazi.
with the
Sense
white.
of Right Alliance.
Like these toys, this toy set everyone has been around for like years. It's like my favorite app. It's like my favorite bootleg toy thing. I wish when I was growing up, when I was poor, we had this level of toy. Instead, we just had like Wrestler Man, and it was just like a naked guy who you were lucky if they painted his briefs or whatever you call him, his singlet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Of course, Shrek's cockeyed.
Well, and you know,
I was
there's
talking with Banana.
memes. There's a memes out here. People are went out of their way to make a Sense of Right Alliance blockbuster HBO Max promotional. So here you go.
Oh my god!
Yes.
Yes!
Oh
did you
my-
see
The name is True Vinily Version Snyder. That is incredible. No notes, absolutely zero notes.
But did
Yep.
you guys see? Like, I posted this because I saw it. I was dying. Was the SJW figures, and it says with even more pronouns.
No, I haven't seen that. Is it?
Oh my god!
Yeah,
it's
I definitely
so
haven't.
funny.
So here we go. You got Thanos. You got Jack. You got Wolverine, Batman, Superman, Hawkeye, Gandalf showing up there. Samus, the Blue Samurai Ranger, Harley Quinn, the Yellow Ranger, Yellow SPD, RoboCop, Princess Leia, Elsa. Very poor Shrek cosplay.
At that point, they're just doing cosplay, man.
I love it. Lightning McQueen has an eye patch. Apparently,
Wait,
he's
hold
like
on.
the Nick
Where's
Fury
the
of...
one? What is the one on the right, on the upper right? Is that the girl from Frozen?
Yes, that's Elsa. Yeah,
Yes, because of course she does look absolutely nothing like Elsa.
yeah, yeah. Yogi Bear is there. He's got like a flaming rod. That's neat for him. The Cat in the Hat. Sonic's there. The really overdone version that nobody liked. That one's
So
there.
did any of you see the oh gosh, the Chip and Dale movie that came out just a couple of years ago? Well, they did have like at one point. So basically, in the movie, Chip and Dale are not really like, you know, Chip and Dale, the adventurers. They're Chip and Dale, the actors who play the adventurers in like the show. And at one point, they go to a Comic-Con and they find themselves with a booth that has literal like the ugly Sonic from the movie that didn't come out
Right.
before it was edited into like the Sonic that we've seen, right?
Yeah.
And there's like an entire scene. I don't know if we can look it up. I don't know if we can actually watch it.
I don't think we can play it.
Yeah, but it's so like,
Yeah, Disney would not like us. Volume. The Rescue
basically
Rangers
what it
or whatever it was, like 2 years ago or so.
But there's the SJW figure we saw on Twitter the other day, and I was dying.
I love that all the accessories are different, like pins with pronouns and whatever. That's pretty good. That feels.
There you go.
Cider could have made that via AI. It feels
right?
like an AI figure.
Like a mighty car.
Where is it? I wanted to just really quick. Snakes pointed out, I'm honestly just scouting eBay for people posting old figures for cheap because they need money due to Bidenomics. And it's like, I read that. I've not thought of that. That seems like a really smart idea, but it also makes me really, really sad. Like that makes me, I hate the idea of somebody having to sell like a collectible or something they really liked because they need money. I know it happens all the time. Doesn't make it hurt any like less. A couple of months ago, I was able to snag one of my holy grails of toy collecting, which was the Comic-Con set of Hal Jordan in the different Lantern Corps outfits. Mm-hmm. And I got it for like $10 less. Like each figure was $10 less than it would have been at retail. Like if I'd have bought it that day in 2008. And the guy was like, yeah, we're getting ready to have a kid. We're moving spaces. I just needed to get rid of some things. And I was like, I almost feel like I want to tip you because like this sucks but I get it, but I ended up not. I just bought the figures. So that there's my half-hearted what do you want to call it? Empathy.
But speaking of empathy.
Oh yeah,
yes.
I saw that and I was dying because I during the 2020 riots, I was very heavy into the protest community and I saw a lot of this stuff happening, live, obviously. And when I see this stuff and, it drives me nuts because it's like these people are so clueless. They don't know the full context of the story. Like with Kyle Rittenhouse, for example, I watched everything live as it went down, including the people that were, I know the people who were treating one of the guys on the scene too. I know a couple of them and they ended up putting out fires in Kenosha and helping them out. Wow. Yeah, they're really cool. I know people. But yeah, like when I see stuff like this, like ignorant comments like this, it just is very much like a LARPer situation here. That's what it gives. It gives virtue signaling. It gives LARPer virtue signaling. There we go.
So I have a slightly different take on it, but we'll get into it in just a second. I want to recap for everybody what exactly this story is. So for those of you who didn't see, gosh, I guess was it earlier this week, late last week? Anyway, in recent days, Reacher star Alan Ritchson did an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, wherein, it was one of those just normal career interviews, yada, yada. But during the interview, they got into the topic of society and politics. And he made two statements that really, really set off his mainly conservative viewer base of Reacher, right? Which the first was Donald Trump is or I guess it's technically three. One was Donald Trump is a rapist and a con man, and I don't know why the Christian church makes him as their poster boy. The second was that okay, no, so it's four. Okay, you're right, it's four. So those were two. The third was Christians have become the most vitriolic tribe in the country, and the fourth was cops get away with murder all the time. So he came out with that interview, and obviously it blew up, the internet for very, very, very good reason. Like I mentioned, his viewer base is primarily conservative. I know a lot of us have seen when Reacher seasons come out, especially with season 1, everybody was going, finally, a non-woke show, a non-woke actor, like, let's do this. Like, I'm totally about that. And so this, unsurprisingly, really, 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 really set people off. Whoops, I just bumped my monitor for a second. And obviously we'll get into it. We'll hear from Nerdigans, we'll hear from everybody. But as far as my thoughts on this, it's basically, you are obviously entitled to have your opinion on anything and hold it, whatever. But I think this was a bad, stupid ass move by Ritchson, right? Like, you do not have to come out. Nobody made him, he wasn't at gunpoint. He wasn't on the hot seat. He could have just said, don't want to talk about it. But instead he threw this giant grenade into his career. And it's at a time when he's starting to blow up is probably a strong, too strong of a word, but like he's in Reacher. He has a movie coming out with Guy Ritchie, the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, which is going to be like one of his first big things out on like the silver screen. And he just decides to lob this grenade into like the discourse, I guess. And so the main thing I wanted to point out is and this is just to clarify for everybody there, a lot of the responses I saw to this were, oh, he doesn't like Trump. That means he supports Biden. Oh my God, why are you a Biden supporter? God. Right? And yeah, right. Good, because we'll throw it over to you right after, or we'll throw it over to you. But the my entire point with that is like, just because it's taking, you're sort of jumping to conclusions and extrapolating something that you have no evidence for. Right? Like, yes, he's doing liberal talking points, but does that mean he has to like Biden? For example, I hate Trump and I hate Biden. Just because I talk trash on one of them in one instance does not mean I automatically support the other one in whatever it is we're doing. It's, humans can talk about different things in different situations. Now, I'm not ruling out that he's a Biden supporter or a super lefty. I'm not ruling it out. I'm just sort of saying, until we hear from him directly or we have a donation proof, like let's attack his points and not write him off as something he might not even entirely be. That said, Nerdigans, what have you got for us?
Well, again, this kind of ties into the protest community a little bit, because you see these protesters, well, I call them LARPers because that's what they really are. They're a bunch of idiot LARPers. You see them and they straight up say, fuck Biden. They said it in 2020 as well. They don't like Biden. They don't like Trump. And whenever I saw the quote unquote patriot side of the community, like say, oh, these are Biden soldiers and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, they're not. They're just a bunch of idiot LARPers that don't know any better. They don't like Trump. They don't like Biden. They just, well, a lot of them are anarchist LARPers. So they just want chaos.
See, you hit it. Like, I think you're so right when using the term LARPers there, because you're, especially when you're like, oh, they're anarchist LARPers. And it's like, that is what it is. Whatever political side they're on, most of them, like Antifa or whatever, it's all performative. It is all, again, they don't have real principles. It's all just about, how can I look like I've won or am in the right now? They will abandon it super fast as soon as it goes against the tiniest little bit of their narrative. That's why so many of these leftist organizations fall apart. It happens to the right too, but we're talking about the left specifically. It's the purity testing. Once the purity testing is introduced, everybody will fail until there's just one dude who's declared himself the most pure in the group.
But yeah, these are straight up leftists that are doing this. And when I say LARPer, if you've ever watched protests, especially like me, you see that there's the green vests. The green hats.
Yellow vests.
You have the people, and those are the Lawyers Guild people. And then you have the people that wear really, really stupid media things that say media on there to prove that they are quote unquote press. So you got your press LARPers, you got your lawyer LARPers. Then you have like really, these people are just insane. Like, this really is LARPing. Like when they were like throwing, what was it? Oh my God. They were throwing like fireworks and fire bombs and all this stuff. Molotov cocktails. There we go. At courthouses and police stations and all that. Then you got like the whole thing that with Chaz/Chop, which I saw the rise and fall of.
Yeah, the Chaz. It's still, that is still hands down one of my favorite things in the entire world. I still love the Chaz.
One of my friends who mysteriously died, I want to say a couple years ago now, he was on the scene. He was actually in the car with one of the kids that died.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was with him in the car. And like when he told me that, it freaks me out. But yeah, like these people use bear mace. Like when I say LARP, these people are LARPers. I have tons of clips from all of it too. So thanks to the protest community. But yeah, I've seen a lot of crazy things on these streams. It is wild. It's nothing compared to international, but overseas it's a different story. But yeah, American LARPers are like a weird bunch. They co-opted BLM and now they're co-opting Free Palestine. And then you got the whole oh God, what was it? Autonomous Zone in New York, which there was one before back in 2020. There was one in LA too. But
is there one now? Did they start a new one?
Yeah, they started a new one in New York. They're calling it the Liberation Zone.
No
Naturally.
way. Oh my God, they did.
One of my friends is actually on the ground covering it. I follow really, really good people in the protest community. They are on it. Like, they are on the front lines. I've seen a couple of them did one of them get rid? No, the one that I was talking about in Kenosha, like one of them served in the military before, and it was Mercado Media and CJ TV. They were on the grounds and they were putting out fires in Kenosha because they were lighting like churches on fires and stuff like that. They came together and did that. The CJ treated one of the people that got shot by Rittenhouse or attempted to save him. I'm telling you, the stuff I have seen on live stream is just next level. You will never see. It's crazy. You can make a movie out of it. It is insane.
All right, then, Nerdigans, let me ask you something then to bring it back to the topic. With all your watching of these live streams and these protest streams, what have you seen out of the cops? Like, is Alan Ritchson here on? Like, does he have any truth to what he's saying? What do you think about that? Like, what do you think about Ritchson's statements here?
In regards to Ritchson's statements, in regards to, like, if we want to compare it to George Floyd, that was performative. That was because the LARPers were out there.
Whoa. What do you mean compared?
I'm talking. Let me get back. I'm getting there. Just in general, if we're gonna talk, there's maybe like, out of all the ones I've seen, there's maybe one that was justified in Denver, and I want to say that was the one in Kansas City justified. I think it.
I have no idea.
I'm trying to think. There was another one. No, it's just the one in Denver that I know for sure that was unjustified, and it was really, really sad. I can't remember the kid's name off the top of my head, but yeah, that's the only one I know of that was unjustified. And I think the cop got charged, and I think he's in jail right now. I just can't remember. It's been a while, but yeah, not all these cases that he's talking about, like with Breonna Taylor, it was her boyfriend kind of fucked everything up. He shot at the cops first. And that's why, the cops weren't charged. Same thing with Trayvon Martin. They got the evidence that Trayvon Martin was fighting the Zimmerman. So it's like, no, this ain't true. Not all of them. Some of them are unjustified, but most of the time, most of the things that I've seen, at least on the streams, they were self-defense.
So yeah, who's gonna say something? I cut somebody off there.
Well, I just wanted to point out that the National Fraternal Order of Police has it right here that Mr. Ritchson's an actor. Alan has never served. He began his career as a Abercrombie and Fitch model. All right. So his wing wang in tight-fitting underwear and high contrast was how he emerged into the world of stardom. So I don't take this as someone who should be lecturing the police on anything. And in fact, he portrays a character that arbitrarily murders, that goes outside of even constitutional law to accomplish law giving in a murderous manner. There's a joke around here that not around here, but there's a joke about the Reacher series, the books, that Reacher can't get through a mission without murdering 12 people or more, a minimum of 12 people. They've counted. In every book, no less than 12 people end up killed. By Reacher's own hands. So this guy's like, the cops are out here murdering, even though I star in a television show that'll walk you through how to murder your neighbor with stuff that's under your sink.
But then there's also, he's been saying that in campaigning to try and be Batman. I've seen, before this interview came out, I was seeing like stuff from like Discussing Film and I think Variety as well. They were saying that Richardson said that, pick me. I want to be Bruce Banner. Not Bruce Banner. Oh my God, Bruce Wayne. No. I want to be Batman.
He would be awful at that. There were people that say they wanted him to be Superman. Really, he played Aquaman. If you don't know, he played Aquaman in the Tom Welling series.
He also played Hawk in Titans.
Right. Yeah, and he was stiff, and he was annoying, and he was one style of character. The big, impatient muscle. That's it. That's all he plays is big, impatient muscle. And, you know, much like Vin Diesel is just Vin Diesel. You don't hire him to play any other character other than Vin Diesel. This is Vin Diesel with nanoparticles in his blood. This is Vin Diesel who drives very fast. This is Vin Diesel who could see in the dark. That's it. You know, you dip Vin Diesel into hot water, he turns into John Cena. It's great.
See, like I definitely think I saw this theory put forward on Twitter, and to me it seems like it's absolute, or at least this is what I like. I'm on board on this theory. Like I could see it definitely coming true. So like Nerdigan's just said, and like Cider just said, Ritchson has come out and he has sort of, you know, publicly been throwing his name out there. Like, I want to be Batman. That would be cool. I would love to be in the next Batman role. As we know, there is no technical Batman yet in James Gunn's DCU. There is the Robert Pattinson one, which is its own thing because DC is dumb and has like 9 different film continuities going. But so somebody on Twitter was like, you know, he's never really come out like this before. He said like a statement last year where he didn't like Trump, but he's never come out this hard and this like fast. He also, after all of this came out, Ritchson went on Twitter and was like, oh, am I supposed to, you know, not be true to who I am? Am I not supposed to hold my beliefs? And it's like, again, Ritchson, you can have your beliefs, but it's probably not a smart move to like lob them out there, not only because they're counter to the base of your main show, but also because they're just so hyperbolic and out there that they can easily be picked apart. But yeah, somebody was like, because he wants Batman, he probably hired a PR firm or a publicist, and this is what they told him will work. This is how you endear yourself, is by publicly coming out and hitting all of the points, because it is just so, at least to me, it seems so bizarre that he hit almost every talking point of like the DNC in like here, right? He's just sort of missing like trans kids matter or whatever, like at the very end of his post. So I definitely think, yeah, he's probably hired somebody and it's just not working out for him. And I think this is going to be a massive blow up for him. I don't think this is going to go down as one of the most ill-timed moves of all time. This is, to me, this is a bit of a hyperbolic comparison, but it's, yes, exactly, Jacob. First of all, shout out to Jacob. I know we gender and race swapped you, but hello. Alan Ritchson is trying to be part of the club, just like every other actor. And that's definitely what I think. I think somebody told him that's how you get into the club. That's how you get more career points. And that'll, you know, sweep you out into bigger and better things. And I just, like before I addressed Jacob, I kind of see this as, again, a bit of a big comparison, but Hillary Clinton, when she did, when she called everybody deplorables and like, or all the Trump supporter deplorables, up until that point, she had been kind of neck and neck with Trump. And then after that, boom, she was gone. Like her support was out the window. The big divide all happened. Everybody like everybody saw that was really stupid and insulting. Now, did Hillary really think that? Sure. I'm positive she still does. I mean, I'm positive like 98% of people on the left do think that. However, if you're playing politics, she should have known better than to go out and insult half the country. And that's kind of what Ritchson did here. Don't have your opinions, but also know your audience, right? Like know who you're talking to. Be more tactful if you have to be, but don't just come out and swing. So I just think, I don't know, Ritchson is dumb here. Josh, what do you think? You're the one who actually wrote about this story. And yeah, you're right. He didn't talk about Ukraine or Israel or Palestine. That's right. He didn't hit those topics.
Right, because he didn't really want, probably because one, he's not really all that informed. And I'm pretty sure that all of the talking points that you say that he is like, oh no, he's touching all of these. I'm pretty sure that it's like, I don't know, maybe my PR wants me to read these. So I'm just going to memorize a few, especially the one I just kind of like did the thing 4 years ago with the Breonna Taylor thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. But the problem is that he's still alienating. He should have known better than to alienate his viewership. Like he's got like an audience. Reacher for 2 seasons is mainly conservative viewers. It's like if you're just going to go against it, then might as well just quit. And I remember just from a few years ago, he was the first to talk about like all of the mistreatments when he was doing the Michael Bay Ninja Turtles and all that stuff. And it's difficult for me to like not go back to that and think, well, you were speaking out of line back then as well. like talking smack about the studio, and now you're just talking smack about your audience and Christians, even though you yourself call yourself like a Christian. That's why in my article I actually address him as a self-professed Christian,
Yeah.
because it's like, I don't know, I mean, that doesn't really sound too Christian to me. But I don't know. This guy actually, the way that I read all of his posts, all of his comments about all of this, it's just like, I don't know, man. You're 42 years old and you're sounding bratty. You're sounding like a 50, 60-year-old girl, you know, just complaining about her period.
Like you're trying to be relatable. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's fine if you have your political views. It's fine, but still know your audience, still know your place. And it's like, I'm pretty sure at this moment, even if it was like a PR stunt, I'm pretty sure like all of the PR people behind it are kind of going like, oh gosh, maybe we shouldn't have let him say all of these things, right? I was saying, we agree, but no. So
Jacob,
I don't know.
go ahead.
It's kind of weird. And as soon as he got like, because somebody called like that he said these things in the Hollywood Reporter interview that was like last week, but this week somebody like from, I think it was Breitbart, did the article and talking about like, oh no, he actually thinks about this thing, that whatever, and he saw that and he was like, oh yeah, no, so I actually, you know what, bruh. And at that point where you're like, because he's already talking smack about the police, generalizing as well.
Yes.
Right? He's generalizing. That's the problem. That's the issue. Maybe you want to talk about that specific case and say, well, yeah, all the cops in that particular moment were murderers or whatever. Maybe yes.
Don't just come out and generalize, right? Because when you generalize statements like that, I'm gonna come for a devil's advocate sort of moment here, but like, if I'm on Ritchson's side or anybody's side and they swing out with like a big generalization, you've automatically sunk your own cause there, because unless it is a very, very provable, acceptable generalization, right? Like hamburgers tend to be good. Unless it's something like that, everybody will go, what about this one? What about this one? What about this one? Because there will always be like asterisk, different things that not disrupt the narrative, but like
cheeseburgers. That means you hate chicken burgers.
It's true. How did you know that? I find chicken burgers to be deplorable, absolutely deplorable. Let's see. Wait. We have where was somebody said something here? Oh, Jacob said it. Yeah. He just lost 90% of his audience for his next Christian movie. That's something I wanted to highlight, because literally after the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, his next project is a full-on Christian movie with Hilary Swank, where like one of their daughters, like
with Hilary Swank.
With Hilary Swank,
Christian artist in Hollywood.
Isn't she okay, wait. I genuinely am asking.
She was playing transgender. She was playing transgender characters before transgender was even a word.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I have not heard. I feel like Jacob's going to be able to tell us. He's going to be like knowing it right now. So let us know, Jacob, because I genuinely had no idea if she is or not. I didn't even know she was in that movie. I just knew Alan was. But yeah, like, you come out and you go, this is the same as saying like, we don't want, nerds or incels to play our games or whatever. Like, you're just this is going to be really bad for him, because as much flack as we're giving him here, imagine and I'm trying to say this. I don't know if I'm going to stumble on the right word. So if I misphrase this completely, I'm asking for forgiveness, but like we're giving him flack here, but the people like the Christians who are very much like very, very Christian, and they don't want, like, the Christian centric outlets and personalities are going to eat him alive over this. And so what do you expect this movie to do if everybody is saying, screw this guy, we don't want to see it? I mean, yeah, it's going to be a very bad time.
Yeah. Kind of like with what's happening with Warhammer, isn't it?
Oh, it already came out, says Jacob. So Well, then maybe he like let it come out and then he decided to drop his comments. Maybe that was part of the PR strategy. Who knows? All in all, it's completely stupid. And it is so absolutely stupid that I believe we have to do something about it. Jacob, Cider.
I'm just gonna hit
my
the
friend.
laser.
I got it.
I just can't get over the sound of the orca, just going like, and shooting down.
It's Willsy X.
Not Will the Axe. Where's Tom
It's
Cruise?
Willsy X.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, we didn't. Maybe we haven't revived Tom Cruise. Oh yeah, Jacob's right here. It's like when Taylor Swift came out supporting abortion the day after her stadium tour ended. Yeah, that seems like it makes a lot more sense there. That actually does seem like that's what it is. So we are coming up at the end of our show, but I think it is important because we didn't hit it. Let's hit our main topic of the night. I know Nerdigan's there, had it ready. Yes, in case you guys didn't see the news, the one that headlined this stream, that has headlined multiple streams over the past couple days. Games Workshop thinks if you are a Warhammer fan, they think you are stupid. Now, I've used that joke. I used it at the beginning of the show. I've used it in promoting Cider's video yesterday, but it is absolutely true that at this point, Games Workshop thinks you are mentally deficient. So for those who don't know the full story right now, because again, Warhammer 40k, a very, very dense thing to get into. I'm not even going to lie, guys. It took me like 3 hours to write this article, and that wasn't even getting the information. It was verifying where in what books, like which specific character was mentioned where. It's so lore deep. And of course, 40k nerds, you guys know that already. But essentially, there is a faction in the game that serves. So there is the Imperium of Man, who serves the God Emperor, which are basically humans that are, we go out across the galaxy and we conquer. We're basically just manifest destinying the entire universe. We're killing all the Xenos, and we're doing it to glorify the Emperor. There is a faction within them called the Adeptus Custodes, which are basically the Emperor's elite guard. Imagine essentially really big hulking versions covered in gold instead of red of the what is like Palpatine's guards, the Imperial guards from Star Wars, sort of that same thing. Throughout the entire, so in 2016, when this faction was introduced, Games Workshop specifically said in their lore that the faction, like this group, is made up of sons, like men, like male children who are given up by their parents, because they think it'll bring glory to them, it'll bring honor to their family. In subsequent editions, they have expanded on that, saying things like, yes, it's the higher family sons do it. It's all the males. Like it's such a glory. It's been an established part of their lore for years now. Recently, let me rephrase that. Let me restart that. Coming up or soon to be released is a new codex called the Codex Adeptus Custodes, which is basically a codex with all the information regarding their factions, their backstory, the units that come within them, so on and so forth. For, of course, to be used with the tabletop version of 40k, obviously. In that book, they, out of nowhere, introduced. So in the lore section of that book, they highlight a specific story featuring a female custodian, which has never, ever, 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 ever existed within the lore. Like, it is just not there. There is a statement from one of the original, or for those who know 40k, the author of the Horus Heresy. He was a very, very influential member on crafting a lot of the Warcraft 40k lore. And a couple years ago, he was asked a question on Reddit, like, where, like, women can be custodians too, right? Like, duh, we need more representation. And he basically came back and said, well, not exactly. We never said there weren't any, but everything in lore says they're men. That's not to say you can't introduce them, but as we've developed the game so far, all the Adeptus Custodes are men. And even in his statement, he was going, you know, like, I don't care if they're female. Like, if you want to make them female, fine. Like, I'm really ambivalent to it. But he was still going, but this is how we've written it. This is the lore.
Right.
So with the new codex coming out, Games Workshop was promoting it. They were, you know, sending it out, letting everybody read it. Eventually they made a tweet saying, hey, you can pre-order it here. In response to that tweet, a fan asked them, hey, why did you make a female custodian? This hasn't existed before. And in response, Games Workshop comes out and just goes, they've always been female. There have always been female members. And like, I genuinely mean it. They think you are stupid. They think that you cannot go back and open your books. It's, again, like the immediacy right here. What do you got for me, Cider?
Well, I got a super chat for you. It's right on topic here. We got Arvita here for 5 Australian smackaroonies. I think that's what they call them down there. This is the first Adeptus Custodes female character is a trans woman.
Now, I haven't heard that, Ravul. I would believe it. I have not heard that. As far as I saw, they just referred to her as a woman. All I've seen of the actual book itself is a screenshot from a guy reviewing it on YouTube. So I only could see what he sees. And it's still very low definition. So I would believe that. I know that all of the Adeptus Custodes are supposed to be male. So maybe there's some gene modifying in there. I am not, just a disclaimer, because clearly Ravul is pulling my card for good reason. I am not the biggest 40k nerd. I'm very early in my journey and getting into it, so I'm trying to learn. So anything you guys want to correct me on, anything you guys want to throw out there, please do, and that would be very helpful. Right. Yes, Rhaegar, I totally forgot. The female custodian is actually Jennifer Lawrence, and it was the first custodian ever. How could I have forgotten? I always forget that Jennifer Lawrence is the first of everything. What were you going to say, Cider?
Did we get Archcast from the next stream?
Oh, yes, and then 2 more Australian dollary dues from Ravul says, Archcast from the next stream. Dude, Arch, I'm sure he's going to be losing his mind over it. I'm sure he already has. I haven't seen this video on it yet, but Arch, say what you want about the man knows his 40k, and he is very, very well versed on it. So I definitely want to hear what he has to say. Right, Rhaegar, she taught the custodians how to be custodians. We definitely have some on staff. I don't know, Cider, are you a big 40k guy?
No, I'm too dark for me, man. I'm not that guy, you know. I'm out here like, okay, so if Games Workshop wants their Femstodians, as we called them, Femstodes, as they're known as, this is what they need to look like. This is it. This is the standard. You can decorate it however you like. It has bonkers boobies and huge maternity idol hips, all right? That's, if you want it, that's what it's got to look like, all right? Decorate it however you like, but that's how it comes put into plastic. There you go. And that's the rule I'm saying. That. I'm just, if Games Workshop wants it, this is the only way these things can come to exist. They like holding their rules. They like suing people who make very good fan art. They like doing that. So this is a trade-off. If everybody wants to have these female Adeptus Custodes, guess what? This is what they look like.
But like that's the insane thing. Like, you just hit the nail on the head right there. If you want your female custodes, we already have them. There is literally a faction that is the partner faction to the Adeptus Custodes called the Knight, or the Sisters of Battle, the Knight Sister. It's one of those two. I'm totally Sisters of Mercy. Now I gotta look it up because
Sisters of Battle. Sisters of Battle.
Doesn't this kind of make you think of like what they did with Saint Seiya with Shun, making Shun a girl, when in the lore girls cannot be bronze saints. They have their own thing. They have Saintias. And there's also like the mass too. If they want to be on the male training grounds, or like just on the training grounds, they have to wear a mask. So that's what this is just making me think of, is like what happened with Saint Seiya when they made a feminine looking man that people love into a girl.
Yeah. I mean,
this is a silence.
This isn't even that egregious. This is like, that's going, that's like the Katrina level thing of like, oh, they look like they're gay or whatever, we're going to make them into a girl, blah, 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 blah. This is straight up just, you know, like they have these Sisters of Silence. This is just one of those me. I need to be in the center of attention. Why? If we're not talking about me, I'm uncomfortable because, you know, in the lore, the Adeptus Custodes are heavily genetically modified. Like these dudes are just lumps of walking machinery and flesh that are meant to kill. And that is what the female Custodes are going to be too. So literally the only difference between a female and a male Custode are what pronouns you're going to use for her. And it's like, is that really, did you need to, I don't know. It's insane. It's bizarre. It's like, they only want to come in and say, ha ha ha, we're here. Okay, bye. And then like leave. Like that's exactly what they'll do because
they do this all the time too.
They do it all the time. Like, yeah, this is just not like they do it all the time. Leslie here brings up a good point. Remember when feminists disliked the boob armor in Star Wars? It will happen with this. I posited, whoops, I brought it away. I posited the other way, which is, they don't have any boob armor here. So now they're going to go, why aren't there any feminine Space Marines? Why aren't there any women, or why aren't not Space Marines, the Adeptus Custodes, why aren't they actively visually female? And then we're going to get curvy Sisters of Silence in these things, and it just completely shits all over the lore, right? Like
this grim dark future isn't inclusive enough.
That's okay. That's another thing to get to, is that this property is inherently regressive. Warhammer is not supposed to be a progressive thing. You're not supposed to look at the God Emperor's campaign and go, yeah, we all want to live under that. That's going to be great. He literally is like a conqueror who just rolls over everything and kills whatever comes in his way and kills those he like opposes with. It's not supposed to be something aspirational. And so I don't understand. I don't understand what's going, or I mean, I do understand. It's just tiring. It's just like, yes, you're not at the center of the attention. That's okay. Go away. Like you literally already had a faction. You had the Sisters of Silence, who are attractive women, who are super badass, who have been established forever. But no, that's not good enough. You have to have the other person's toy for literally no reason. It's so dumb.
People want trans. They want to make the custodians trans. That's what they really want to do. I've seen like the paintings, I've seen the fan art, or the figure painted. I've been seeing that for a long time.
I need to push back against that point, Nerdigans, because this is something that's been making the rounds. There is an excerpt from the like Games Workshop Warhammer magazine, and I don't have it on hand like with me, but it is a page where somebody submitted to the magazine to show off their miniatures, and they're all painted in various like rainbow flags, right? The trans flag, bi flag, yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. A lot of people have been using that to go, look, Games Workshop is making them trans. They're doing this. Oh my gosh, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, hold on. We need to be clear about something, is that in that magazine, that particular image is a fan image. That is how an individual who bought their toy decided to paint their miniatures. It's not an official thing. It was literally, hey, I did this. Do you want to see it? And Games Workshop went, hey, cool little project. Good on you. It's not official. And we just need to remember to like keep our focuses. Because once you start going after like fan projects or fan art, then we just start like, you lose the plot, right? You start sounding rabid and insane instead of accurate. And we want to, that's what's going to differentiate our points in anything, not just in this discussion, is being accurate, because the generalizations, that's for the other side. That's for people like Ritchson. We have to be more tactful, because we are unfortunately, we all know this. We on our sides, the people who aren't buying into all this nonsense, we're on the back foot in our discussions, just in the current society. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that. But to your point, Nerdigans, I can't imagine that genuine transgender characters or modifiers or whatever for 40k are coming in. Like it at the rate at which 40k has sort of bought into all this would kind of almost make Marvel blush. Right? Because like every release or every time Warhammer talks, it's another like, go away. We don't want you. We're changing something that has been super, super established. And it's just like, of all the properties, 40k, I would argue, is one of the ones that requires the most like continuity, the most like your lore is important there. That is the game. So the second you start going, the lore doesn't matter. None of this matters. Everything can be done. Well, then what are the stakes? What do I really care about? Right? One of my good examples of this is, if my fellow comic readers remember, 2 or 3 years ago, after Dark Knight's death metal over at DC, that story ended with Wonder Woman using the lasso of truth to basically canonize every story that had ever happened in all of DC. So whether it was an Elseworlds, a run that was abandoned, whether it was like a movie tie-in comic, they were all canonical. And at that point, like, I just went, I don't, up until that point, I was still checking out like 1 or 2 DC books. I would check out Green Lantern. I would check out Flash. After that, I have zero motivation to care about anything DC, because you've just basically told me stakes literally don't matter. Everything is okay. So I can just bring back this character. I can do that. This method of death doesn't really apply anymore. And it's just like, okay, so what do I care? If everything goes and there's no, I just had an awful realization. And it's that, I was going to say, like, once the conflict is gone, what's the story? But we know that that's the kind of stories they want. They want those awful coffee shop level stories where, oh, my 2 characters go in and they talk about how the guy hasn't texted him back yet. They want that She-Hulk episode where she is just obsessed with the guy. Like, that's what they want. And that's what we're getting to. And like in DC, that's where we're at. And that's just what I see here is, oh, everything can work. Then why do I care? Why will I follow the rules of your game? Oh, this unit can't use that vehicle. Why not? Literally, why not? And it just,
like with Dungeons and Dragons, with what Wizards of the Coast has done to it, because they changed like every aspect of it, and now people just don't care.
It is really, like, Nerdigans isn't wrong. Like, we've been covering it for nigh on 2 years now. Like, every decision out of Hasbro, specifically Wizards of the Coast with Magic and Dungeons and Dragons lately, it's just been really, really, really bad. And people are losing active interest in all of this stuff. I have a group of friends who, they are normies, so they don't really care about the stuff we care about, but they play D&D, and they've stopped buying new product because Wizards of the Coast, they're like, I don't know what to do with it anymore. They release too much stuff. They're changing everything. Like, I'm just going to wait for them to make up their minds and release a new like dungeon guide. And it's really bad. I mean, to your point, Nerdigans, the president of Wizards just announced today that she's resigning, and that can never be a good thing.
That they are probably cheering on the Twitters right now that she's gone, because they hate her.
I'm cheering for it. Like, okay, yes, we all know. Again, we're going to put aside the criticisms of like the neoliberalism and all that crap that's been injected in. When it comes to Magic the Gathering, I still, I played all the old stuff, so I still keep casually appraised of it, whatever. I can tell you for a fact that like Hasbro has become overrun with corporate greed, like even more than the
quality of the figures have gone down too. That's what some of the hunters are saying.
No, yeah, like it's their figures, the quality of their releases. But so what the thing that gets me with Magic, and this is the reason I know she like is not exiting on a good note, is that in recent years, it's gotten to the point where a new Magic set, like a full-blown new set with new rules that, invalidates other cards, comes out every month. Every month we are having, players are having to learn new rules, new strategies, new cards get, thrown out of the meta, new cards get banned. It's insane, and nobody can keep up with it. And the more all they keep doing is throwing them out there, throwing them out there, throwing them out there, throwing them out there, and people aren't buying them because it's just, there's no reason to, right? Like, put yourselves in the position of a player. Oh, do I buy all these cards right now for $100 when in a month some of them might be useless or worthless? No, I'll just buy them secondhand if I really need them. And then Wizards isn't getting any money. It's the card shop or the individual person selling it. So and then with that, like, I know you guys have all noticed that we've gotten a lot of like crossover Magic card set lately.
Oh yeah,
like we have the
swapped cards. Yeah, I think
the Lord of the Rings one.
Yeah,
the Fallout one.
Yeah, the person that did the race swapped Lord of the Rings one, I covered him because he said something really stupid about Gamergate. I just can't remember off the top of my head.
I'm not surprised.
Like like the amount of crazy crap I have seen from these industry people is just unbelievable. Like some of the things they say, I'm blown away because I never see this kind of stuff when I interact with Japanese anime or mangaka. I never see them like treat their fans like crap. They get attacked by Japanese fans now too, apparently, in the case of a couple. I feel so bad for Morikawa. He just needs to freaking ban them all. But that's a whole different thing. But
yeah,
but like they are interacting with the fans. They want to answer questions for them. They want to like reveal their stuff. And then on the other side of things, in the West, you don't have that. You have them attacking their fans, which is the
okay. Yes, you do, but I also think that that's slightly off course of what we're talking about because I'm more talking about their business strategy.
Yeah.
Right, like we can talk about individual creators all day, every day. I mean, we know that we have so many people behind Dungeons and Dragons, like at the top, coming out and going, "I want white men out of the game. We don't want white representation." Blah 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 blah. But unfortunately, as we've seen, right, Nerdigans, is that though that rhetoric doesn't ever, or let me rephrase, that rhetoric rarely, if ever, translates to somebody getting, fired or getting, like canned. So to me, whatever the president of Wizards did, it wasn't a social faux pas or like a PR faux pas. She screwed up financially. And I mean, back just to close out my point, like all the crossover cards we've gotten Fallout, Tomb Raider, Street Fighter, Transformers, Lord of the Rings, like you said, all of these, we're getting Marvel next year. We're getting Final Fantasy sometime next year. My Little Pony got cards, right?
Yeah, I saw the My Little Pony card.
Yeah. And the problem here is that they have to pay for those licenses still, and they're not making the money back. So at this point, what you're looking at is this sort of death spiral of investment where they go, I don't know, Nerdigans, let's say like, the Fallout set didn't do great. Well, let's buy the license to Marvel and we'll use that set to do it. Oh, that set didn't do too hot. Let's buy the license to DC and we'll do some cards with that. And so they just keep, for all the money they pull in, their expenses of buying the licenses aren't great, or like they're not evening out. So they are just in a constant spiral. And yeah, like it's bad. They're toast.
I kind of want to compare it to like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, because Yu-Gi-Oh! They changed the rules like over the past, 2 decades now, or 25 years. They've changed the rules. They've released new cards. Some cards are banned, some cards are not.
Yeah.
It's insane. And same with Pokemon.
Pokemon's nuts.
Pokemon is nuts, but you don't see this kind of crap coming out of Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh!
Japan, because it's Japan, yeah. The Pokemon ones, Nerdigans, like I wanted to talk about this with somebody because I don't understand it. Like there are so many different like new exclusive sets and tins and boosters, but then some are sold out and then some are always readily available and sometimes they're at Best Buy. And I'm like, I do not know what to do with Pokemon cards anymore. Like
it used to be so simple.
It used to be like, dude, at this point, it's run and hide. I don't know why. You said this, Nerdigans. You brought up the original like card game. I was at a card shop the other day, and they had sealed decks, like the original starter decks from like the first 2 sets of Pokemon, and I was just like, put those in a museum. Like I cannot believe that those actually still exist.
Yeah, I think people have found original Pokemon cards at flea markets too.
I was thinking about that the other day. Like, I sadly think because I was thinking about like my old Pokemon card collection and how there's like 4 or 5 I need to really like clear it out. And I was like, remember back in like a decade ago when all those parents were like cleaning out their kids' rooms and everybody was talking about how all their Pokemon cards got sold for nothing? Like, what if we start doing like, maybe I should check that out? And then I'm like, but we are already past that point. Everybody knows Pokemon cards are valuable now. Like maybe somebody will die in the Midwest with like no family and somebody will just throw it out. But at this point, I'm like, dang, I missed that window.
Yeah. And it's like with Yu-Gi-Oh, here's the difference between Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh, they have like set type decks, kind of like with Magic the Gathering, where they're specific decks. Pokemon, it's just all over the place.
It is. It's like some decks are like, oh, we're theming it after this character. Oh, this one we're theming after a type or a strategy. And it's like, which one am I supposed to buy? I don't know anymore. Like
at least with Yu-Gi-Oh, what you're getting. Like with old Magic the Gathering, you know what specific type you want. Like there's Blue Eyes White Dragon decks if you want to go like the Kuiper route. There's new Egyptian decks too. I think there's like a new Exodia deck or something I heard about.
Good.
But there's like a Dark Magician base deck. Like you can do so. Like Yu-Gi-Oh is just more organized, but they don't have like. Well, they still have some cards that are censored, unfortunately. But like other than that, like you don't have the message there. You don't have like
no, of course not.
There. You just have stupid censorship for like say for Dark Magician Girl.
I know, I hate that. And that sort of goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning, right, Nerdigans? Like the West is still really weird about some things because it's like, yeah, cover up her like top cleavage, even though there's really not that much, and the card is like that big, and you're never. What are you going to do with
horror cards too that they censored as well?
It was what?
Correctly, horror cards too. I can't remember the one off the top of my head. There was a couple of them where they made it. Or Mystic Tomato is one that comes to mind where they made it like not as scary as.
I wonder who they did that for. Because in America we're fine with like blood and scary. So I wonder if that was for like China. I don't know enough about Yu-Gi-Oh's distribution or anything to get to China or to weigh in on that rather. Let's see. Yeah. Leslie says, I still have the originals from the 90s when I was a kid. Find them, hold on to them. They are raising in value every day. Like those original sets are still worth a lot of money. Those sealed decks I saw, they were going for like 120. I'm positive they were upmarked a lot, but still probably somewhere in that range of like $80 to $90 for a sealed deck. So hold on to those, Leslie.
There's been some some mom and pop card shops that I've seen where you could get like a deck, like a blind card deck for like $10.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of them. A couple of the stores I go to do that. Like those are really fun too because they're actually pretty fun decks because they're like fully assembled by like real players. I don't know. If you're ever bored and you're a card game player, I definitely recommend like picking up a blind deck and just playing for a day because it's a lot of fun. Meteor Advocate Timon says that's why I like Canasta. No rules changing and no new cards for centuries. Look, I will start playing Canasta if you can make like holographic versions of those cards. You don't got to do anything special with them. Just make them shiny. That's all you got to do to activate my lizard brain, and I will play your cards.
Well, either that or see-through, like with your Gundam.
Yes, you give me translucent cards. I will play whatever game you want to play for the rest of my life. And then, yeah, Leslie says, I collect Yu-Gi-Oh! For the artwork. I have some really old cards. I wish more card games would do like art books or something, or like prints, because a lot of these cards have just beautiful pieces, but they're like restricted to that much. Like they're that big. And then even if you go online and you're like 4K high resolution, it's maybe like that much bigger. Like it's not it's pretty disappointing.
I mean, look at the One Piece cards. The One Piece cards are gorgeous.
They are insanely stupid pretty. Like don't even get me started on all those and all their variants. It's just like I want like a frame to put all of my One Piece cards in. They're so pretty.
But then there at least is good news, and there's good news and bad news in regard because Ghost in the Shell movie is up here in the topic, so I just want to bring it up. Good news is Ghost in the Shell is getting a release. Will it be as short as Mobile Suit Gundam Freedom, which is only getting 1 day for sub and 1 day for dub, and only have like 1 or 2 showings? I hope not, because there was one for Evangelion that happened, I want to say earlier this month or last month, and it was only for 1 day.
Yep. That was on purpose because it was the like 20-year anniversary of End of Ava, so they put it out on that day, and then they were like, "Yeah, we're done now." I agree. They need a bigger one. This
is amazing what they're doing, though. They're doing a full 4K restoration for Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence. That is incredible. I hope it's an IMAX.
We need more of those.
Yeah.
Here's for old movies, but like to that end, Nerdigans, one thing I really worry about with asking for more 4K releases and stuff is when I want to watch an old anime or even animated thing, like I want to see that film grain. I want to see all the dirt and the grime, because that's sort of like what makes it authentic. A lot of releases these days do the AI upscaling thing that like smudges everything so that it looks smooth. And I'm like, please do not do that. Please don't. And the problem is like we will have no idea until it releases. Like, that's what's insane about it. Like, we will have no idea what quality we're getting until the movie actually is in front of our eyes on screen.
But I'm hoping with this, I'm just hoping in general, because and we talked about this on Tokyo Happy Hour, that we have all these movies coming. There's movie re-releases like for Spider-Man, for Shrek 2.
Yeah.
And it's because Hollywood's in that drought. And it's like, why not just bring more anime movies and have them, I don't know, marketed, or have like a longer theatrical run?
Because they don't own those, like the big studios don't own those, and it would also require admitting defeat, right? Again, Hollywood does not want to say we're getting beat at our own game by anything. They want you to think that we're the number one. We know what we've got the pulse on everything, and it's just like, no, I don't really think you do.
No, if you look at what happened with the Oscars, there's like 2 anime that were in the best animation category with the How Do You Live and I think
Boy and the Heron.
No, I call it How Do You Live because that's what it would be. That's what it was in Japan, and that's what I'm calling it.
Fair.
But it was How Do You Live, and I think Suzume was in there, or it was something else. I can't remember. But yeah, there was like 2 anime.
It wasn't Suzume, but yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I remember. I can see it in my head. It wasn't Suzume, but yeah.
But yeah, you'd think like, and now Guillermo del Toro is coming out and talking about how Miyazaki is like the most historical, influential animation director, period. And I'm just like, I don't know about that. I like Miyazaki, but
Disney.
But there's
like hands down.
It's incredible. It's incredible to see how much anime is starting to influence our culture. And not only, oh God, why was I going to go with this? I worry about it. I've seen it happen a lot more because someone was mentioning about Taurus for Warhammer 40k. We've been dealing with Taurus for a long ass time now.
They've always been there, and they'll always been there. But like, the thing that makes it worse now is that we talk about this all the time. On the internet, anybody can raise up anybody as an authoritative voice, or take anybody as like what am I trying to say? So like, we see it with movies and video games all the time. People will go, oh, this is, misogynist, this is racist, whatever, and they'll change it for those 5 offended people who didn't really care about it anyway, because they were the ones who happened to get the attention. And so there's no way to discern on the internet, are you genuine? Are you a real person? Are you being an asshole? Are you a dog? Are you AI? I have no idea. So it just all rolls into that, and it's awful. Nerdigans, before we close out, Leslie is asking, will Ghost in the Shell 2 be released in North America in Japanese with subs, or is it only getting a dub?
More than likely, because how G-Kids does stuff is they do usually release stuff in sub and dub. So, and that's how it's been for like a lot of these anime theatrical releases. They do sub and dub. So I would imagine this would be the case here. G-Kids didn't announce it like officially, but yeah, usually it is in sub, and usually has the sub version and the dub version. They're getting wise about it. They're getting wise because people know now that fans don't watch dub anymore. They watch sub. So it's not. No, it's really true. Nice to get more sub anime in theaters. I just don't like the freaking elitists that are talking down to us for not liking dub anime because we can't speak Japanese. Or
that's not even elitism. That's just stupidity. Like, that is a whole. Oh, you don't speak Japanese, so you can't weigh in. It's like, okay, you're not a serious person.
Even Japanese people have gone in on these people, and they're like, I'm Japanese, and I can tell you right now, English dub sucks. So what's good?
Yeah. 9 times out of 10, the English dub of pretty much anything will be absolutely trash.
Well, I should say the modern English dub. Like,
no, there's some some classic ones.
Yeah, no, it's always been shite, mate.
Well, there's older ones that are like complete shit. Let's be real. But there's also the really good ones, like Trigun and Cowboy Bebop. There's still those good ones.
You still get, there are, as much as we are all loath to admit it, right? Credit where credit is due. In the modern era, there are still some series and projects that get released with pretty good dubs. It just happens to be that the ones we highlight, because of the nature of our work here, are the really, 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 really awful ones. And it's kind of like what Josh just said. Like they've always been sort of shit. It's just now everybody's sort of becoming aware of how bad it's been. And so, you know, to leave on a slightly optimistic note, I think Nerdigans, with the rise in sub releases and all that fun stuff, you know, more or longer release windows and just more projects from Japan coming over in general, we're probably, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say we maybe not on the very cusp, but we're on the very like edge of change happening in some regard, whether that means more accurate translations down the line. And again, this is like a scale of years. This is not, it's going to happen next week, but you know, better translations, better handling of releases, better distribution. So let's really hope that is something that we learn from.
Well,
So I know that you want
to mention this though, is that Sony is handling the Crunchyroll titles, and usually their releases are good. And I've been telling my Aniplex insider that like there's a resurgence in physical media. Tell people at Aniplex, tell the heads of Aniplex to bring more Blu-rays out, because people will buy them in the US.
People will buy them, yeah.
It's not like, unfortunately, Viz's releases have been ass. With like well, it was Viz and Funimation with I think Dragon Ball, but there's also the Bleach one for Bleach 1000 Year Blood War. I've been seeing like footage of the Viz physical releases, and it's not pretty. It's never been pretty.
I haven't. You'll have to shoot them our way. Josh just ran to the bathroom, even though he had something to say. So with that, with Josh being out and not being able to make his point before he gets back, I'm gonna cut him off and say that is it for us tonight, folks. We have gone 30 minutes over. We're starting to do that more and more because we love talking to you. As always, I am super thankful to everybody who showed up this week to hang out and talk with us, from Veritas to Ravul to Leslie, DC3, Eccentric Banana, Rhaegar, obviously. Smackheaded Squeaky Weasel coming in with the final or one of the last comments. Dante obviously was here earlier. You guys are the reason we're able to do this. You're the reason we can keep doing this. And yes, we're happy to be here. We're happy to talk to you every Wednesday. Before we get out of here, I am, of course, going to let everybody know, or let you know what they've got going on, starting with Jacob Smith. Jacob, what do you have going on this week?
Well, literally right after this, I'm recording a live reaction for this month's Toilet Bound Hanoko-kun. So, and you can watch that on my channel, YouTube channel, Nerdigans Inc. And I said it earlier. We covered One Punch Man. We are, as soon as the new JoJo Lands chapter comes out, we'll cover that. We got an early release for Boruto, per usual. So we did cover this month's chapter, which is amazing. Oh my God. I almost forgot to mention this though. Something that maybe I'll write for Bounding at some point is the Zatch Bell mangaka came out and said they're opening up to licenses, to Western licenses. So we might be getting releases.
You should write that. I would be excited. Write that up. You got that one. Like, yeah, you know how you and I, you know how we feel when it comes to Zatch Bell.
Yeah, we love that. I still can't believe Makoto said it. I'm hoping we'll get a legal simulpub. I hope it goes down the way that Darmion's with Kengan did, because the fan translation group is amazing.
Yeah.
For Zatch Bell, they really put in the work. They redid and provided a better translation for the original Zatch Bell. So it's all done. It's ready to go. If they just sign them on, they'll do it. But we'll see who. I don't think Viz will get the license though. For those of you who are wondering, because of the whole thing with Shigakkan, I don't think they're going to get it. Or at least I hope not. But anyways, you could also catch me on Twitter as well. My Twitter handle. I know Spencer wants me to change it, but if I change notifications from tweets, that's the problem. So you can follow me on Twitter at P9CKER_girl. You can follow me there. And then there's an article for the Funimation article where all the list of all the titles that are in streaming limbo is done.
It's bad.
It's really bad. Like, you have Astro Boy in streaming limbo right now.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why is Astro Boy in streaming limbo? Some of the titles, because the list was updated, like Black Butler is still there, and and the One Piece specials. We got the press release from Crunchyroll in our email that the dubs are going to be available on Crunchyroll soon. So But anyways, hopefully, I'll probably be here if the topics are good enough. I'll be here every Wednesday.
You'll
Yes,
be here
absolutely.
every Wednesday.
Yeah, we want you here. You're definitely welcome.
We added you to the intro.
You're in the intro now. You can't make us
Yeah.
look foolish. You've had and to set the record straight so everyone knows, and Nerdigans has had an open invite to come on. This was the first night she's been able to join us, so I'm really happy you did, Nerdigans. It's always great to talk to you. I mean, last week's episode of Tokyo Happy Hour was a lot of fun, and yes, you were always invited back. Like be here. Let's see, Josh.
I'm here and I've got nothing. I'm sorry, mate.
Well, Josh has nothing, but I'm going to give him a compliment because I gave this to him before the show started. Josh has been killing it with his articles lately. His Rob Schneider piece, his Alan Ritchson Fraternal Order of Police. Yes, damn it, I'm complimenting you. It's been killing it not only on Twitter but also on on the actual views of the site itself. So, Josh, you are murdering it. You're doing an amazing job. He's the man. I could not get our print out without this man's help. So more power to you. With that compliment to Josh said, Cider, tell the people what you've got.
Hey, tune into the channel here every day. We got a new video every day going up talking about the topics that are trending over on Bounding. We talked about the Warhammer situation and also the Richter reaction, Ritchson reaction, if you will. Ritchson reactor, yes. Say that 5 times fast at 11:30 at night. Go ahead. But yeah, other than that, continue to tune into the channel here. There are some changes taking place. There'll be some visual and programming changes, but bear with us and onward and upward. We'll see you in the next one.
Onward and upward. I am excited. Absolutely. Guys, so as for me, like Cider said, we will be in the coming weeks, we will be revamping some of our programming. Nothing is really going to go away. You know, some things might be condensed, other shows might be expanded. You might see some new things that only last a show or two. We're trying some things, so bear with us. Hopefully we can, keep delivering you the content that you want to be here for. Aside from that, yes, as always, please check out boundingintocomics.com every day for your pop culture entertainment news. I've got a bunch of stuff that I've got to write tonight as soon as we get off of the stream here. So stay on the lookout for that. As always, you can come back right here, same bat time, same bat channel next week for another episode of the 01 stream where Jacob, Josh, Cider, and Nerdigans and I will be here to break down the week's biggest pop culture news from Disney to anime to everything in between. If you want more of me personally, you can obviously find me right there on Twitter at KabutoWriterMav. If you want to see more of me live before next week's show, you can go over to my own channel, Studio Kabuto, where every Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, I host a stream, The Good, the Mad, the Ugly, where I take the time to, talk with you guys about, do deep dives into topics that might not get discussed around the sphere, things like tokusatsu, weeby anime games, all that kind of fun stuff. That's up your alley. Come on by, step on down. We'd love to have you. And yeah, that's basically all I have for you guys right now. Before we sign out, I just want to give a, on the topic of complimenting Josh, I want to take a moment right now to let everybody here know, both our team on the panel, the team who isn't here tonight, and you viewers, thanks to everybody's efforts, Cider with his videos, Nerdigans and Josh with their writing work, Jacob with his writing, all that fun stuff. Bounding the site itself is doing amazingly. Since my tenure, we've almost doubled the view count. We're consistently hitting, the levels we need to, and our reach is growing. So we are, thank you to everybody. I just wanted to thank my team. Thank you guys, because again, without all of you guys in this mix, none of this would have happened. So like Cider said, onward and upwards. And I guess until next week, take it easy.
See ya.